Okay, I am going to put that right there. Okay. Would you like to hear all the reasons I love? Hey, bye. Check out this blunder I made while talking. Hi, everybody. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be making sure there's sound. Is there sound? Is there sound? Is there? Yes, there is. Okay. So all is well. Good to go. Hi, Cookielicious. How are you doing? How's it going? I'm trying to make this post really quick. I got caught up. So, let me see. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, man. It is. Hi, Kai Kai. Good afternoon, Sigrid. Hi. How y'all doing today? I just got off work at like 1:45. So there's that. You say you have an exam in like 10 hours and you still have to study for it. Bless you. I wish you all the best on that exam. Yeah. Study. Also, study. How's my thumb? My thumb is it's coming along. It's not infected. So that's the most important thing. um, I just keep doing what the doctor told me to do to it every day. And moving on from there, I don't really want to talk too much about it. I'm gonna leave it alone just so. So you said thank you so much. Yes, you're welcome. Hey, you guys, welcome in. I see more people are joining. Yeah, I said the first day or two, it was really difficult to do things because it still hurts when I apply too much pressure. But the first 2 days were really bad because it was like just touch it a little bit. It was like, ah, actually, yesterday I was listening to a song and I snapped both hands. That hurt like hell. I was like, fuck. I was like, oh my gosh darn it. So, but yeah, everything is okay. Um, yeah, everything is fine. Oh, really quickly, let me finish this because before I forget, Chinese. I can't spell Chinese BL, and I just rhymed. Ha ha ha. Yowie. Y'all, I can't spell for anything. What am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more tag. Book recommendations. There we go. Okay, let me just post that and then get off TikTok because we don't need to be on TikTok. I was posting um, just a small blurb from one of the videos I did. It was about all of the things I love about Cui Peerless. And I was just trying to hurry and post that segment. Um, but anyway, yeah, how are you guys doing? We got Cookielicious, who's got exams soon and needs to study. So, hi, how's it going, Tiglis? What you been up to? Hi, Harley. Nice to see you. You got, oh man, gosh. I combined some of my locks and sometimes they're still unraveling. Grr. Oh, you're painting? Ooh. What are you painting? What's the subject? I started a painting and literally just did the first wash. That's it, which is pretty much nothing. But that's because I took the time out to actually draw it first and I did the grid method. Um, so this is weird. It was a statue I saw in Arizona when we went to the aquarium. Yeah. And so it was like, I just could not do the face. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave the face out. But it was just like this man. And actually, let me see if I can show you all the picture because it was super cool. But I didn't want to do the whole figure because the whole figure wasn't important to me. Um, this was the statue. Isn't that so cool? But so I just zoomed in to do, just the top portion of his body. I know, right? You can stick your hand through, touch the wall. Super cool. So working on that. You said that's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I love the statue so freaking much. You said still struggling with acrylics. We spoke on Patreon the other day. Yeah, I remember. Oh no, I remembered immediately once you said you were painting, and then I looked closer at your picture. It was like, oh, I know who this is. So you're doing the that's right. You were doing this dot mandala, correct? Yeah, mandalas are not easy. Well, actually, I don't know if that's true. I just know when I watched Ink Master, anytime people did mandalas, it was questionable. Is all I'll say. So you said, "Ooh, that's interesting." It is, right? Negative space art is so cool. Yes, it's definitely something that I want to get into one day. Hi, Universe. I want to get into it one day. I don't know if I will negative space like the hair or the hubbada bubbada. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've got a bunch of acrylic just sitting around like, hey, have you forgotten about us? And I'm like, nope, just not using you. So, but anyway, so yeah, I got up this morning late because I stayed up late. And what did I do? I ate some cereal. I read some more of um, Copper Coins. And I'm not finishing the book before my surgery because I've got like 90 something pages left. But I'm on the second to last video of volume 2. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then I got to work because, I have to work. But yeah, then I got off at 1:45. How am I liking Copper Coins so far? So let's see. What I will say is I like the overall tone of Copper Coins. It's very unserious, which I love a good unserious novel, right? And sometimes I feel like there are things that I'm not really understanding, but then I just try to take my time and then boom, I understand them. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes literally. Da, 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 da. Oh yes, I think Sheshan is funny. And I think it's hilarious that he calls Shenmin fussy, but he's really the fussy one. So I really like his character. When it comes to the overall story, I don't dislike it, but I don't like it like a whole bunch. To me, it's feeling kind of aimless. Like I know that there are important things to solve, in regards to Shenmin and in regards to Xuexian, but it's just a bit like I don't see the direction of where the novel is going. So I think that's the hard part for me. And I don't know if that's because I'm reading it slowly or if that's just because the vibe, that's just the vibe that it gives. I don't know. But I like it enough to continue, or I want to know what's going to happen enough to continue. But yeah, right now, I'm just kind of like, okay, so what's the purpose? Like, what's the point? Like, are we just solving mission after mission or whatever? Or like, are we getting to something, big? It's only 3 volumes. So I'm like, what's the main thing? You said you enjoy the whole group of characters in Copper Coins. The house layout science went a bit over my head. Oh yeah, the first house with that whole scribe Liu thing. I think I got confused just a little bit. I think overall I just had to like slow down to understand that whole feng shui thing because I was like, hmm? So said, I finally realized again that I truly do not appreciate high fantasy in China as much as I don't appreciate high fantasy at back home. LOL. Is it only one book long? It's three. So um, you guys should be getting the majority of, if not all, of volume one and volume two this month, because while I'm out for my surgery, I'll be releasing the videos faster just so you guys can have content. Like they're already recorded, they're already uploaded and scheduled and everything. But the original plan was to have them like a few chapters every Sunday. But with me gone, oh, it's my dad. One second. Wait. Hey, can I call you back? Is there a specific time that I need to, or are you free? Okay. Okay, well, I need. Okay, sorry. It's just been a while since I talked to my dad because things have been kind of hectic. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but since I'm going to be out, all of those scheduled releases I had for Sunday are now Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, blah blah blah. Like I think you guys got a couple of chapters today, right? Yes, yes. So 3 books. The last one releases April 21st. So after we get all of this, it's going to be a bit of a pause, which is unfortunate. Originally, I liked the slow read that I had, so that way, by the time that one came out, you guys wouldn't have to wait so long. But surgery. So yay, you know. You said legit think the only story I enjoyed in high fantasy setting was what was it called? Sea drama, Fairy and the Devil. Hi, Anne. That is one that I still have yet to watch. I know a lot of people recommend it and everything. Maybe that's why I haven't watched it. Because everybody's recommending it. So, hi Stacy. How's it going? So yeah, I haven't watched that one, and I'm kind of just like, I don't think I will. I mean, maybe one day, who knows? I've got to I've got to get back into all of that stuff, period, the Chinese and everything, but that probably won't be happening until February when I start my studies again. So that's that. Okay, we've delayed for 13 minutes. You said you're translating the novel, Kill to Love. Oh man, how difficult is translating? Please tell me, because that sounds like it would not be easy. Ah. Okay, I think I wiped them good enough. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I feel about copper coins. Like I said, it's not terrible. I guess my brain is just like, okay, what's the point? Like even though I don't know the full story of say Jiangjingjiu, I still feel like there's clearly a direction, somewhere that I'm going. But with this one, copper coins, I'm like, where are we going? I don't know. Like, someone tell me. So you said you're asking for a friend. But yeah, that's all. Once I finish with this side read, I did want to, I'm gonna go ahead since the most people are here right now, give you guys an update. So the first, no, where'd it go? Didn't I have a screenshot of this? I thought I did because this is important. Muy importante. 真重要. Oh, the reading schedule. So no, don't worry. The main reading schedule is fine. Still doing Ballad, Survive as a Villain, LOE, Kaleidoscope. The side reads. Obviously, we're doing Copper Coins right now, and it'll be done eventually. But I've been doing some heavy thinking and reflecting ever since I sent out that video to you all about Astrolabe Rebirth. Yes, and deleting chapter 7 to the end. And I think no, not I think, I know. I'm actually changing one of the side reads, which was Little Mushroom. Sorry if that disappoints anyone, but I just thought about it. And even someone like responded to that video because I mentioned Little Mushroom. And I was like, I don't know if I'll read just like the first novel, but not the second, or if I'll just read until I don't like it and then stop, blah, 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 blah. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? How about I just don't put myself in the position to potentially dislike something reading it, or put or put myself in a position where I may have to stop reading something because I dislike it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the first time I read Little Mushroom, I did like it. But at the same time, I'm not really sure how I would feel rereading it. And I like to reread. Apparently, there was at one point where I thought I didn't like rereading, but that's not true. I just have to like the novel enough to want to reread. And I don't think Little Mushroom is going to be one of those. And it is sci-fi. So to just go ahead and honor the place that it currently has in my brain and to honor the author and the experience and everything, I'm just going to leave it alone. So we're doing Copper Coins. We're still doing Golden Terrace. As far as what the next side, what the other side read will be, that I have not figured out yet. I've been thinking about doing another official Don May, but I've also thought about potentially reading a Don May that has not been published yet, because I've, over time received requests like, oh my gosh, have you ever read this or read that? And they're, not released. And I'm like, oh no, I haven't read this, haven't read that. And I know that there are so many excellent Don May out there that have not seen as much publicity as other ones that are getting released. So that's a work in progress. We'll get there when we get there. I'll let you guys know what the alternative will be. I just don't know yet. Will you read Heaven's Official Blessing? Heaven Official's Blessing. People are raving about it. People are raving about it. And I will not be one of those people to rave about it. Right now, I know that Kicture is reading it. She does live sessions reading it. I know that Crimson Rain is reading. I'm not sure if it's past or present or both. But that is one of the series that I have expressed on my channel. I is not reading. Not I am not reading, but I is not. I am not reading on my channel on YouTube, at least for sure, because I did read SBSSS, but that's a special one, okay? But the other MXTX, Modal Dusher, and Heaven Official's Blessing, I am not reading those, just ever. Don't ask me. Not here, not on Patreon, not anywhere else. I don't want to read those. I've already read them before, if you're wondering though, but I don't want to dive into those. You said, yes. TGCF made me cry a lot. So if read anytime soon, I'm not in, still struggling with our heart. Yeah, actually, I was listening to my playlist of, I think it's called like, Should You Read It? Oh, there's a comment on, actually, I think you're on here now, so we're good. Yeah. Patreon comment for the live, but you're on here. What was I listening to? Oh, Should You Read This, Don May? And I listened to the chapter that I uploaded of TGCF. Oh, I ain't even gonna lie. I had to fast forward past the it hurts part. I was like, nope. So, Liz, just to answer your question, because I just said I just read something from TGCF on here. So I have a playlist called Should You Read This, Don May, or something like that. And what I did at a certain point is I just took like a chapter or a section that was really favored by people when I made a post and just read that little bit as just like a teaser, and it's like, should you read this, Don May? Well, check out this chapter and see if you think you should. So that's where that came from. I recorded a chapter or part of a chapter. It wasn't even the full chapter. You said Crimson Rain is still reading, but close to the end. Oh, okay. Oh, no, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, I said it before, like in the very beginning of my channel, and I say it anytime people ask, because everybody joins at a different time. So some people may not know. Some people may not necessarily read my bio that says, don't ask me to read this. At least I think it's in my bio. I don't know. But I'm happy to iterate it as many times as needed. I'm not going to read it. Not going to read TGCF, not going to read MDZS. Would I be willing to read Beauty's Blade? Don't know how much about it other than it's GL. So that is another thing that I refuse to read on my channel. Not because I have anything against GL, but because I hate voicing female characters. And so for a book to be the main characters to be female, I hate it. Does that sound weird because I am a female? Absolutely it does. But it's so much easier voicing man characters. I don't even get how that makes sense. But whenever I voice female characters, I get like when they have a lot to say, like Bailey Tignal or something in Devil Venerable also wants to know. It's difficult to keep up the tone of voice. Like, I don't know. It is so difficult. I don't like it. I don't like voicing women. Even in the Chinese BL, the Danmei, I don't like voicing the women. I'll just be like, can this woman shut up so a man can talk? That sounds so awful. But that's how I feel. So no, I won't be reading that here. Would I possibly consider reading it in our like Mari-chan book club? Sure. But yeah, not recording it on my thingamabobber. Okay, you said, oh, the person you introduced earlier. No worries. They are very beloved and overexposed. Yes, everybody talks about MXGX all day, every day, and it's just like, yeah. So not as promptly available. Da, 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 da. Okay, someone else has read. So you guys are giving Tiglis the good. I may have said that name backwards. Y'all giving them the goods. Will you read Golden Terrace with the Seven Seas publication, or do you have the Peach Flower House edition? So I have the Peach Flower House edition. I'm going to be reading the Seven Seas edition just because I read the first book, the first volume with Peach Flower, and then I got through 60 pages of the second one and I DNF'd it. Not because I didn't think the plot was good. I just wasn't a fan of the writing. So, or the translator's writing, if you will. So I'm hoping that I will like Seven Seas' translation better. I also do think that maybe there was a part of me that maybe it was just the wrong time for me to read it, because at that point I was super obsessed with something else. So it could have been the wrong time, but I'm wanting to move to a different translation because the story was really good and I really loved the dynamic between the two main characters, which is why I really feel like it was just the wrong time, you know? So I'm going to read the Seven Seas edition, but I have the old one. You said Beauty's Blade is on your TBR. You didn't catch up on that. Been binging all my readings. So you're not done yet. Oh man, well have fun binging. Although I feel bad once you've binged everything, because I definitely, there is this MHA fanfic channel I follow, and I binged all of her stuff. Actually, I take that back. The only things I didn't binge are fanfics that she read where it feels like the author's just completely dropped off the face of the earth, because I'm not setting myself up for failure. But everything else, I binged it. And now I'm just like, now I have to wait for uploads. I'm like, upload faster, or upload the story that I want you to upload faster. So, oh my gosh, I wish you the best. You said the power of absolute detachment. You pre-ordered Devil Venerable. Yay! Excited for the official book. Me too. I pre-ordered mine. I'm excited for it to come in. Actually, I'm excited for Devil Venerable to come in. I'm excited for my hardcover SVSSSs to come in. There's a lot of S. SVSSSs. S's. Yes. And I'm excited for my Dark Deku figurine to come in. I've pre-ordered several things and I'm just waiting for them to come in. It's going to be so exciting to just look at Devil Venerable again, but from like the official translation, see how they handle everything. So exciting. Okay, you said you think you may also I think it may be also feeling you have to make them sound a certain way and it makes you uncomfortable. There's a certain way you make them sound in media, which makes me, yes, I'm assuming you're talking about like talking like women or voicing women. Yes, because there is this like notion in my head of how I need to make them sound. Obviously the men's voices are deeper in my brain. So I usually make them deeper or keep them around this tone. And then the women, I try to pitch them up a little bit. It is so uncomfortable. Like obviously the way that I voiced like Yan Wu Shi or Sheng Qing Chu, I'm not gonna give a woman that voice. So I have to go higher. And it takes a lot of work. Like I applaud voice actors, especially who do anime, because the women's voices are all the way up here. Nee! And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, okay. So yeah. You said they pretty much have good translations, Seven Seas, that is. Yeah. I have heard from some people that they prefer like, who was it? Whoever Yiki Bean, I don't know who their translators are, but whoever translated, say like Nanchan, they said they preferred the translation of that compared to the translator who did this, because they felt like Seven Seas' translation wasn't, it didn't compare, or some things were like watered down a bit. I don't know, because the majority of the works I've done are Seven Seas. So who knows? And we're about to get started shortly too. One of the best official translations is 4,000 Autumns, Peerless, and QJJ. I love Thousand Autumns so much. I love Peerless. I might reread that, maybe. And obviously, I have love for QJJ. I just need to read more of it. And I'm like, can my body just heal itself? Do I really need surgery? Let's just cancel the appointment because I want to keep reading. Oh my gosh. Like, God, you said binge life is tough. QJJ and Golden Terrace, my top 3 Danmei. Ah, nice. Yeah, I'm really excited to read QJJ again because at the point in time when I started reading it, that's when I also was introduced to MHA. I know a lot of people have been on it for years, but it was new for me. And I was hype about it. And my brain had little room for anything else. Like I didn't even read a whole bunch of Danmei then because I was just like MHA, MHA, MHA. And I've calmed down from that a lot. Like I have a whole bunch of fan fictions that I'm supposed to be reading, and they're just like, "Hey, are you still obsessed with us or not?" And I'm like, "I am," but just like, wait, Danmei. So that's why I said I think it was the wrong time for me to read Golden Terrace because there were so many things that I was invested in. So we'll see. Your ears are squeal toniverse though. I'm gonna start reading my books like, "Hi, this is Mari Chan. Welcome back to my channel." Oh my gosh. I would be so upset if I was cursed with that kind of voice. Rosme. Okay, thank you. I didn't know who the okay. You said is QJJ on the road to become March? I think it's on the road. Honestly, it's too early because we've only read one book that we're about to dive into, right? But like, I don't know. Like this might be the one. Like I'm like, Thousand Autumns, your position is being threatened. What are you gonna do about this? Yan Wusher? Come on, you better defend your post. Defend your position because I don't know. This is really, really good. Oh my gosh. It left Anne almost speechless. For anyone who's not on Patreon, if look, let me give an example. Some people on my Patreon leave comments this long. Some people on my Patreon leave comments this long. These are Anne's. Except instead of just one, it's like 2 of these. But I love them. I read every little bit of her comments. So, but the final chapters, her comment was like, it was like, hold on. It was this small. I was like, Anne, are you not going to say anything? So, yes, it's a great book one. The embroidery of Yambusha is still underway. So, oh, yes. I'm so excited about that too. You guys are awesome. Like, I appreciate y'all so much. Before we get started, ow! Fudge. That hurt. Okay, that hurt. Just take a second. Don't be embarrassed. I totally meant that as a great thing. I'm so sorry if I am. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. I meant that in the totally great way possible. Um, Now I am going to embarrass someone else, and that's probably because they will be embarrassed, but I don't think it's bubble wrap me, but I don't think it's anything to be embarrassed about. Right before we get started to this, can we talk about my new art just for like a second? Just a tiny little second, because your girl is excited. She said, no, you already knew it was about you. Oh my gosh. Let me pull up my Mari-chan images and just pull this up really quickly. Y'all, because I just don't know what to do with myself at this point. Because what? Okay, let me see. Is it pulling up the whole thing? No. Okay, so what I need to do then is just pull up. Look at this, y'all. Like, first off, I want to say the the cherry blossoms, that was one background thing she gave me. And then this greenery was another one, but then she also put them together. And then this was done separately as well. But, Canva, putting things together, blah, blah, blah. But look at me. Look at me. Isn't this so cute? And look at my middle finger. Someone pointed that out, and I was I'm like this. I was like, yes, everyone who's talking to me, like the book is here for decoration. Middle finger to y'all. And I can't unsee it now. I don't care what you say, NFS. It's the middle finger. But I am just so amazed with this art. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's not even the only art that I'm getting from NFS. I also have, now you'll see at the ends of my videos, you should see this. Oh, look at that. Isn't that so cute? I just think the colors are so vibrant and everything. And I was like, yes, I love this. And there's even other stuff that she sent me this morning, but I haven't downloaded it to my computer yet. So you won't see it. But I am so grateful. Like, NFS, you have no idea how thankful I am. When I was thinking, who do I want to create my art for me? You were the first person that popped into my head. And then I was like, okay, let me go back and look at the fan art submissions that we had and just make sure. And I was like, yep, this is the person that I want. So, trying to make sure I didn't hit my thumb. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart to the top of my heart for this beautiful art and the art that you're still sending to me. I am so grateful. And this was something that was so important to me. Instead of going to some random person that I saw could draw very well or paint very well and be like, hey, I have a Don May channel. Can you create a version of me to be my logo and the thing that I use when I make posts and stuff? It was like, no, I wanted it to be someone who is immersed in my channel, someone who has been live with me, seen my personality, who's been listening to my stories, to really hone in on my personality, to make it as personal and accurate as possible. And that is exactly what you did. So be proud of yourself. Okay, because we had a little talk this morning. I'm grateful. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, you said, don't mind me. I'm just disassociating. Prodding compliments with, well, at least you're taking these compliments from behind a screen. Like no one sees you, if that makes you feel better. But yes. So, the last thing I'll say is I do have more art coming, yes, from NFS, but also from someone else. And it will be specifically for something on Patreon. So again, anytime that I can utilize like a chance to expose, well, I don't want to use the word expose, but to give shout outs to all of the artists here in any capacity, that's what I'm going to do. It is Utma. Yes, Utma is creating something for me as well. And I'm super pumped about it. Also, in case Utma watches this later, let's all give blessings to Utma because they are taking exams and we want them to do awesome, just like we want Cookie Licious to do awesome. So yes, you guys got this. Okay. All right. Now we can get into Changjingju. Okay. Let me flip open. Okay. So today we are discussing chapters 35 through the end. Yes, cheering for you all. And really quickly, 35 is coming after Shan Zichuan was like, sing, sing, sing to Jilei's body, which of course we don't find that out till later, but we know that that's exactly what happened, right? He went to go interrogate Jilei and then he left. And Xi Hongxuan is like, bruh, I was waiting on you. Okay, let's go get the body. I mean, not let's go get the body. Let's go get him and take him back. And then throwing up because of what they saw. That's where we left off. So now that everyone's caught up, let's talk about chapter 35. You said he got donkeyed, as deserved. I think that's the perfect way to put it. Jilei got donkeyed. You said you inspired me to pull out my watercolor paints. Yes, do it, please. I'm telling you guys, when I have more time in my schedule, I would love for us to have like sessions together where we're just creating art together. You know, a lot slotting out some time that we can all just do what we do best, do what we do that we're learning in artsy fartsy world. I think that would be really fun. But anyway, you said, and now that we know why. Yes, art sesh. I think that would be nice because we had one for New Year's Eve when I guess all of us were reluctant to leave. And so people literally just watched me paint some Danmei bingo prompts. Yes. So, chapter 35 is entitled First Snow. Not the second one, not the last one, but the first one. So in this, we have Shan Zichuan has cleaned his fingers, his hands, or whatever, as much as he could. And then next thing you know, Xiao Chuye steps in and he's like, hey, you got a handkerchief? And he's like, here you go. And then he smells the handkerchief. And he is infatuated with the scent of it. And let's just elaborate on this scent, okay? First off, he said it was rather pleasant, okay? Not the usual incense of the nobles, you know, so they all smell the same, right? But he was like, This reminded him of the strong, valiant wind sweeping the land under a blazing sun. The scent of Xiao Chuye. He said it was the sunlight beyond his reach, the bright spirit he no longer possessed. Who smells like that? Xiao apparently. Now I want to smell him because I have never heard anyone's scent described like this. And I'm like, okay, can I get the handkerchief, please? Let me take a whiff of it. You said first snack, then the scent. That's definitely a slight improvement. No sandalwood, right? Although I do really love the smell of sandalwood and jasmine together. Honestly, like you just put me in Omega verse, and if they say the Omega smells like jasmine and sandalwood, I'm there. Because it's one of my favorite scents. But anyway, he said in Korea, first knows were always about romance. It is the same for China because our guy was falling hard fast. Yes. So anyway, he's obsessed with Xiao Chuye's scent. And of course, Xiao Chuye is like, hey, bro, where you been? Hmm? You're my personal bodyguard. You were supposed to be guarding my body. But instead, you're off handling other bodies. But like, where you been? Huh? And so you said, and it turned from rain to snow mid conversation too. Yes, it did. So Shunza Tran, of course, is like, I've been out doing things, but he already knows that Shunza Tran did something bad. He's like, what preposterous deed have you committed? And then let's see. He also says that Shunza Tran needs to bathe in his room, when they're heading back. He's like, yeah, you're staying in my room. You're sleeping in my room. So you will bathe in my room and let me see your naked body. So and then they go on the next page and have this little banter with each other where Xiao Chuye is like, oh, you were out running all over the place and you're already so fragile and sick, you have me worried just running around. And he's like, yes, I'm sick. He's like, you need me to get a physician to see you? And he's like, yes, that would be helpful and it would save on some consultation fees. And then he's like, okay, well, you haven't recovered from your illness and you have me worried. So I'll have someone to follow you from now on. And I have this note here because I thought the interaction was hilarious because it was really just Xiao Chuya saying, you keep slipping through these guards. I'm going to have somebody on your ass so that you can't sneak off again. That's how I interpreted that. He said, I'll get someone to follow you from now on because this was like his second time slipping away. So he was like, okay, we're not going to have this. Okay. So then they start, heading back. They joke about each other's height. Xiao Chuya is like, you're too short. He's like, well, you too tall when it comes to who's going to hold the umbrella. Right. And then Xiao Chuya mentions that his name means, Chuye means galloping through the wild. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So anyway, as they're strolling along and everything, Xiao Chuya tells Shen Zichuan, like, hey, now that you are essentially exonerated or whatever, you're free to go. Like, you can go somewhere else and just live your life. Like, why are you staying here? And Shen Zichuan is like, oh yeah, I guess I could just change my identity, go move somewhere else, be somebody else, live a mediocre life. But why are you saying this to me? That doesn't really sound like what someone who hates me would say. And so Xiao Chuyan makes it known. He was like, I hate the Biansha horsemen and I hate Shen Wei. And to me, I think this is an important moment because obviously in the beginning, it was like, I hate you because you are a Shen too. And I just rhymed. And so for him to be like, for him to finally get to this point to be like, okay, Shen Zichuan is not Shen Wei. He is not the one that, betrayed Great Joe. He's not the one that caused thousands upon thousands of people to be killed. That was Shen Wei, not Shen Zichuan. So very happy about that. But I'll tell you one thing I did not like is when Shen Zichuan was like, I thrive on hatred. And he was like, Xiao Chuye was like, those are old words. That's 5 years ago, you saying that. And then Shen Zichuan goes on to say that even anyone who lives off of hatred eventually will come numb to it. But then he says, there's nothing in the world that can make me feel pain again. Bruh. Why you just jinx me like that? Why you just jinx yourself? Because now what I know for sure is going to happen is that he is going to feel pain again. And it is going to involve Xiao Chuye. I don't know what's going to happen with Xiao Chuye. This man is going to get got. he's gonna think he's about to die or something, when they're finally deeper in their romance. And it's gonna look like just an unsolvable situation. And you're gonna feel so much pain. Why you set yourself up like that? Like, why? You said the moment he said that, I thought, oh boy. Yes, exactly. Like, what are we doing? You said he set himself up. My theory is that's why Xiao Chuye took it as a challenge in bed. He's like, oh, I can make you feel pain. What the heck? That's so funny. So, anyway, I guess we'll see when that moment comes. But I had to point that out so we can all remember this moment together. Okay? When Shun Tran jinked himself. So let's move forward in my notes. Shun Tran actually ends up touching the back of Xiao Chuye's neck all seductively and everything, right? And he's like, some things are beautiful when seen through the mist, but then you realize it's just a pile of dead men's bones. And Xiao Chuye is like, dead men don't touch people like that, baby. What you doing? And so he eventually picks Shun Tran up, slings him over his shoulder, and takes him back. And I just thought this moment was so hilarious because he was like, Xiao'er, put me down. Which, by the way, the fact that he calls him Xiao'er is already a dead giveaway. Okay? Dead giveaway for what's going on in here. Xiao'er, not Xiao Chuye, not even Chuye, but, or not even Xiao Cian, I'll say, but Xiao'er. Getting a little comfortable. So anyway, just seeing them have that little moment like that, I just thought it was hilarious because Shun Tran was totally annoyed at being thrusted over his shoulder and doing all of that. So anyway, they get to the room and everything, and of course, before that, Xiao Chuye is like, bro, you smell like blood through and through. And he's like, yeah, you're sleeping with me. So we have these two guards, Gujin and Ding Tao, I believe. I didn't write their names, but because they're not in the index thing, I don't think so. I was like, they must not be that important. But anyway, they're the two guards that are watching over everything, but they're sitting there gossiping. And Ding Tao is wondering if he should report that Xiao Chuye has a cut sleeve. But he decides not yet. And if they ever get put in a position where, people are like, why didn't you report this sooner? Then he's going to blame it on Xiao Chuye. What are we doing? So anyway, blame it on him as if he were pressured not to speak. So I was just like, okay, go put your notebook down somewhere. But anyway, Gujin is like, yeah, he ain't finna get none though. Shun Tran don't want him. So, that's also an interesting thing. So anyway, they get to Xiao Chuye's room and, he's like, here's a hot spring, strip. He's like, you finna watch me take a bath? He's like, yeah. If you have anything to be embarrassed about, then you shouldn't run. And Shun Tran was like, I'm afraid I'm not the one who's going to have issues with embarrassment. It's going to be you. And Xiao Chuye is like, I got this. I got this. Meanwhile, we know he is thirsty as hell. So, then at the end of this chapter, we get Xiao Chuye commenting on Shun Tran still being a lackey for the Empress Dowager. And he's like, this Pearl, did she, tell you to kill someone? Did you kill someone on her orders? And he's like, yeah, I did. And then Xiao Chuye immediately calls him a liar. And he's like, no, this thing was soaked through. There's no way you could have read her message. So that goes back to whatever chapter it was when I said that I felt like Xiao Chuye had deliberately pulled Shun Tran's robes into the water, and everything that happened with the pearl as far as it going from the right to the left sleeve, that was all intentional. And now here we have it where I'm really starting to think it was intentional now. He was like, I don't even want it unless you've already read it, but I don't think so. I don't want you to be able to read what the Empress Dowager said. Heh. So he was like, you lying. Whoever you killed them because you wanted to. And this scene was so cute because Shunza Chan was like, uh-huh. And he was like, don't me. Is the equivalent to not an answer at all. He was like, fine, it was somebody I wanted to kill. And so then he's like, okay, which one of the two guys was it? And of course, he's not telling him. And he's like, it's okay. By the time morning comes, we'll know. Okay. And he's like, but tell me, what did you do? And he's like, do you really want to hear ghost stories? Do you really want to hear what really happened? Let's go to sleep. Okay. So that is all of chapter 36. Pure perfection. This is so good. Y'all, so good. At least you didn't spank. At least you didn't get spanked while over. Yes. Oh my gosh. That would have been, you said on a reread, you can also see that Xiao going from Xiao Chiye teasing him to call him that to Lanzhou. That's the other thing I meant to mention, but then I just continued. So yeah, eventually he does start calling him Lanzhou. Thinking it's not, but saying it out loud to this. He said the course guards are your faves. These two keep contradicting themselves without realizing. Yes. And we're finna get to it because Shunta Trang definitely contradicted himself, Mr. I'm not into men, but okay. The whole sequence of scenes was perfect. Escalation. So moving on to chapter 36. Sent. Immediately reading this chapter title, I was like, okay, this is what we doing here. Is this what we doing here? So we have, after teasing Shunta Tran and all of that stuff, Shunta Tran gets out of the spring and he's trying to get his clothes from Xiao Chiye, who's being an asshole, if you will. But they're flirting with each other. They're playing with each other. And they have at it. Xiao Chiye is teasing Shunta Tran before he eventually gets dressed in Xiao Chiye's overly big clothing. So he ain't wearing his own clothes. He's wearing Xiao Chiye's clothes, which we love that, right? We always love when our show is wearing our gong's big clothes. Yes. So the two of them just banter a bit before Shunta Tran gets in the bed, and Xiao Chiye himself pulls over the settee and sleeps right next to the bed. For anyone who needs an image of a settee, here we go. One of these, not necessarily a couch thing, but one of the things you'll see if you're in a fancy place and they've got somewhere to sit, going from room to room or something like that. So almost a couch, not quite a couch. The boyfriend hoodie. Exactly. It was a black screen? Shite. Right, because I'm still on my account. I hate it when I do this. This is why I always tell myself, Kamaria, when you go live, make sure you have the hubba-da-bubba-da-doo-doo-doo. Okay, let's do this again. There we go. Now y'all see. Ta-da! Now it's not black screen. You said you picture one of those half couch thingies. I do consider these to be half couches. But yes, this is what a settee smooth. Now let me stop sharing that because we don't need to look at it anymore. But he's very respectable, okay? And he sleeps on the settee and lets Shunta Tran sleep on the bed. He could have slept on the bed and let Shunta Tran sleep on the settee, or he could have been like, this is my bed and there's nowhere else for you to sleep. So there's only one bed. He could have done that, but he did not. Very gentlemanly. I thought that Shunta Tran was my favorite, but I'm feeling like Xiao Chiye's, but we'll see. We'll see. We still got time to hold out, right? Okay. So anyway, Xiao Chiye, as they were going to sleep, he had to think about the big blue or cerulean sky to try not to think about Shunta Tran's body. I mean, he did just watch this man undress get in the hot spring, come out of the hot spring, play around with him a little bit. So he's like, okay, think about the sky. Think about the sky. The sky is blue. What shade of blue? Cerulean specifically. Are there clouds in the sky? I don't think so. And you know what? Now that I think about it, you said you're normal about him. So then he goes into like this little memory that he had with his shifu, Zuo Qianqiu, who was also Ji Gang's brother. Okay, so anyway, he's thinking about a memory where he was like, hey, I want to tame falcons. And his Shifu was like, well, you got quite the aspirations. There are many things you're going to want to do in this world, but they'll be the things that ruin you or hold you down if you allow them to overcome you, essentially, if you want them that bad. And so he's like, there are some things you want in this world, doesn't mean we can obtain them. And he was like, can you fly? Like, you may want to fly, but can you? And he was like, well, if I train falcons and then they go up into the sky, well, since I can control them, that's like me flying. You got to adapt here, Shifu. Like, come on. And Shifu was like, wow, very creative. Yeah, I'm not adaptable like that. So you got me. I just thought it was interesting. But it was such a lovely little memory that he was thinking about. And then his Shifu was also like, I see you really like things that are hard to tame. So immediately I was like, so Shanzitren, basically. Shanzitren is your new falcon. You've already tamed Meng. So, and then when, it comes back into present times, he said he liked the process, but he realized that it wasn't just that he liked the process. Oh, he loved the process of taming, but he is so sure that this new falcon, this falcon of lust, is not going to overcome him, that he's not going to give in to those instincts, which to me is just like, so you're already a lost cause. Okay, you are already a lost cause. But sure, let's tell ourselves that you're not going to give in to your lust. Okay, so then I love his little cute name is Aya. That's just so cute, Aya. But anyway, so where are we? Then we move forward. Shanzitren is having, hold on. Oh no, we get back to the two guards, right, who are gossiping some more about Xiao Triye failing to bed Shanzitren because they have nothing better to do. Like, absolutely nothing better to do. And then we have, I guess at the beginning of that day, Chun Yang is like, hey, did Shanzitren ruin your plans? And he's like, kinda, yeah. So I don't know what Xiao Triye's plans were. If he was talking about what happened with Ji Lei, or if he was talking about something else, or, just the fact that he had to take time to go out and find Shanzitren, that his plans were ruined. But I was just like, well, what were your plans? Anyway, so then we have him telling the guards, like, you better keep a better eye on Shanzitren. I'm going to go get some new gear, which does come up later. So they're like, okay, we'll watch him. Wait, where did he go? So they've already lost him. Not good. Anyway, we get Shanzitren, who goes to visit Jigang because he has a little free time, and they're talking a bit about Xiao Triye's Shifu, Zuo Qianqiu, and his fighting history. And then basically, he's done the G-style boxing, but he's learned other things as well that may have shaped and molded Xiao Triye's current style. And so he goes on to mention that Wolf's Fang, Xiao Triye's sword, was forged by the Qi clan's smiths, made for Xiao Triye and his great arm strength. So that's not necessarily something that would be good for Shanzitren. He doesn't need a blade for the arm strength, even though he wielded it nicely when he had it against Qiao Tenya. And so Jigang is like, I am going to take my father's saber from Lei, once he's dealt with, and have it refined to fit you. And I was like, oh, that's nice. But from their conversation, because he's like, oh, why isn't this man dead yet? I was like, oh, so Shanzitren did not include Jigang and probably not his mentor either, on his plans to kill Ji Lei. And so they don't know. Thought that was quite interesting. So um, he eventually goes home to his home to sleep, but coming through the window, we have our lovely Xiao and Meng, because Meng's got to be there. And he's like, bruh, you supposed to be sleeping at my place. Like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, guess I gotta go. So he goes, and Xiao smells Shen Zhichuan when the wind passes, and he's like, there's something interesting about his smell. He's like, why I smell like gunpowder on you? So that's the end of that chapter. Let's see. We have NFS says, I think moment both of them realized how smart and competent the other one was, they were like, I'm gonna keep him. LOL. I love it. I do think that them being so smart and cunning is something that appeals to both of them. Because sometimes we hear about the dynamics of a very smart person and then a naive person. And the smart person, the cunning person, is always having to save the naive person. But that's not the case here, not the case at all. So when we move on to chapter 37, which is firearms, that's when we realize that, Shen Zhichuan is like, I'm not the one that smells like gunpowder. That's you. Because you literally were just dealing with gunpowder. So, like, it smells like you. He says, why we all liked Peerless too. Yes. That's why we loved Peerless. Because both of them were so competent, so capable. It didn't get any better than that. So, we find out in chapter 37, Firearms, that Xiao Chuye got firearms for the Imperial Army. They were originally with the 8th Grade Battalions. And these are brass muskets, which I don't be having this stuff prepared, y'all. We just go as we go. Brass muskets. In case anyone cares to see. At least I did when I was reading. So here goes some brass guns. Don't those look fun? Not really. They don't look fun. What in the world? They don't look fun at all. But there they go. And so he's saying he got brass muskets. And to make the history of these as short as possible, the imperial court heavily regulated the use of firearms. They were originally a bamboo design, but they were moved on to a brass design, which improved the use considerably, okay? But they were hard to handle. One of the reasons is because the distance they could shoot was very limited, and they took forever to reload, which at least I think the majority of us know that, yeah, guns, when they were first made, it took a while to reload them. It was a lot of work. It wasn't as convenient as we have guns nowadays. So it was so inconvenient for the 8th Grade Battalions, and they put it aside. So though this was something that would have been great for like the Libe armored cavalry, it would be great for them to use because they are used to packing power and stuff like that. So then we get on to the next page, and it's explaining some of Xiao Fangshu's history, which, remember, Xiao Fangshu is Xiao Chuye's dad, his good-looking, his ruggedly handsome dad. So we have, in the past, Xiao Fangshu set up a garrison cavalry, which is basically a station where the troops could be at Luoxia Pass. And they were trying to keep up with the Biansha horsemen and their speed, because their horses were extremely fast. And so they had purchased horses from Biansha, the Biansha horsemen, but they always gave them the inferior, the lesser than breeds. So they really weren't keeping up very well. So Xiao Fangshu decided to take the Libe armored cavalry with, he decided to I couldn't read my own handwriting, make the Libe armored cavalry have heavily armored men and really, really great horses. You said you love Xiao Chuye's dad. Ah, so I guess from y'all saying that, I'm assuming he's going to show up more, which is exciting. I want to see him show up more. I think that would be nice. You said same. Fang Shu is peak. Now I want to know what he's peak about. I guess I'll get there. So anyway, how did I get rid of my note? Okay, there we go. So that's what ended up, inspiring him to make the Libe armored cavalry. And they eventually made steel barriers to block the Biansha forces from their like really strong and fierce attacks. So this man is legendary, okay? We've already gotten a little bit of history on him before. He clearly deserved to be one of the four great generals. He's lit. That much is for sure. So anyway, like if they had these brass musket guns in the past, oh, they would have been lit. Here it says it would have been like bestowing wings on a tiger. So anyway, moving from there, let's see. We have Shuntatren says that Xiao Chuye should hide the fact that he has these firearms. But Xiao Chuye is like, essentially, he thinks that the playful reputation that he has gained is what will make people not care about the fact that he has these firearms. He was like, I don't need to keep it a secret. Doesn't matter if I took them and played with them in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day. No one's going to care. So finally, they get to a point where they're lying down in bed, and Xiao Chuye asks Shen Zichuan, what did he do to Jilei? He's like, okay, they sent a certain set of doctors, but not I'm trying to remember exactly what set. Oh, yeah, he said the Judicial Court of Review summoned a great number of physicians, but they didn't alert the Court of Imperial Physicians. What the hell did you do to this man? Yeah, that's why I just went back to it so I could say exactly what it was. And so he's like, what did you do to this man? And he was like, do you really want to hear a horror story? Because I mean, if you do. And then Xiao Chuye is like, yeah, they're going to interrogate the guards anyway. And Shen Zitran is thinking like, it's only for show. Like they're glad to be done with Jile. They're glad they got their confession. That's what they wanted. And so he doesn't tell him exactly what happened or what he did. But at some point, when Shantatren is talking, and he said, I was slipping down a slippery slope or, treading a fine line, whatever he was saying that is akin to that, Xiao Qie stopped him and was like, dry my hair. And when he wouldn't, then he got into the bed and just got Shen Zitran really wet with his wet hair. And that was just another childish moment that I thought was hilarious because Shen Zitran was like, are you 3? He was like, more or less. I was like, y'all are hilarious. Like, I just cannot. But yes, again, we have him saying Lanzhou. Every time, I don't know, every time Shen Zitran says Lanzhou, every time Xiao Chuye says Lanzhou, I get really excited. Does anybody else get really excited? Or is it just me? And every time Shen Zitran says Xiao'er, I get really excited. I don't know why. Like I shouldn't, but I do. So anyway, he calls him an asshole, and the asshole is like, but you're gonna dry my hair though. And that's how their night goes. So then next we transition to Ding Tao and Gu Jin, these bodyguards again. They're on the rooftop. It's the middle of the night and they're chatting. And then there's an intruder. Ding Tao almost gets pierced by 3 needles that have snake venom on it. And he's, talking about everything. He's like, if anyone was able to get past me, then they must be of exceptional ability. And they end up narrowing it down to chances are it was someone from the embroidered uniform guard. So he fusses over his book, though, not himself, but like he's like, he almost got my book. Are you 3? Yes. So anyway, that's them. Then we get to the early morning where Shen Zitran wakes up to Xiao Chuye's boner. Because what would this story be for all Xiao Chuye's pining for Shen Zitran's body if we didn't have him wake up with the boner? And the funny thing is, this isn't even related to wanting Shen Zitran. This is just a natural bodily function for men. They wake up with morning wood. That's it. But Shazatran is like, okay. So then he gets up and he's like looking at him. Meanwhile, Xiao Chia eventually wakes up only to find that he is being stared at. And so he immediately runs to go cool himself down. It's like, I don't think that was anything to be embarrassed about. That's how men wake up, right? Yeah. So that was funny. After Shuntratran steps out and everything, he leaves. We have Chun Yang who tells him, Xiao Chia, about the intruders and everything. And then he also lets him know that his Shifu, again, Zuo Qianqiu, is coming to Chudu. Like he's departed, he's on his way. So it's like, yay, we get to meet this Shifu, who is also another one of the four great generals. You feel like Lanzhou keeps waiting for Aya to pounce him and being like, what takes you this long, WTF? I mean, for real, this man clearly wants him, but he hasn't done a single thing, which we will get to. So, ending this chapter, we have Li Jianheng is taking his emperor duties much more seriously. After his talk with Xiao Chuye, getting some perspective, after, getting out his feelings and everything, he's like, okay, I'm calmed down. This is the predicament. Whether or not I wanted to be emperor, I am. So let's do it and do it right and honor the previous, the late Xiande emperor, right? And so he is being respectful to Hai Liangyi and Xue Xiuzhou and everything like that. And at the end, Chen Yang finally reveals to Xiao Chuye that Shen Zichuan he donkeyed Jilei. Boom. That is where we are. That is the end of chapter 37. So then moving to chapter 38, which let me get a drink of Gatorade. I'm sorry, this is Powerade, which apparently I have to drink a lot of today and tomorrow morning before my surgery. I was like, okay. Well, that or water, but yeah. I had to drink a lot of that and eat a lot of carbs starting yesterday. So then we move to chapter 38. Military discipline, which is when things get interesting. No, who am I kidding? Things have been interesting since literally the first sentence of this novel. I don't know. Thousand Autumns might need to be scared. For real, for real. Okay. So in military discipline, we have Xiao Chuye. It opens letting us know that this man has been getting lazy. While the emperor, Li Jianheng, who was once lazy and just indulged in pleasures whatever he wanted, is now becoming more serious. And Xiao Chuye loves it. He loves to see his friend ruling the empire as he should, growing and learning. Mari Chan, I am shook. You said you're loving it so far, Harley? Yes. I'm glad to hear that. I'm always excited to know that you guys are loving what I'm reading. It would be sucky if I'm just like raving about something and everybody's like, I mean, it's okay. I'd be like, really? No, I'm just kidding. Everybody could like what they like, dislike what they dislike. So anyway, we have the Directorate of Ceremonial Affairs position still vacant. That was Pandru Gui's position, but Pandru Gui is in prison. Okay, so his position vacant. So Li Jianheng made Xiao Chuye. He put him to work because he saw how lazy he was, and he was like, I don't know if I like this version of Xiao Chu yet. Like, you need to still be a little diligent, sir. So what he does is he makes him review the 8th Great Battalion's roster. And given that this is an assignment from the emperor, he can't laze around on that. So he's got to fill his time with that. Meanwhile, if we remember in a previous chapter, I think it was Gu Jin, maybe it was Ding Tao, it doesn't really matter. One of them mentioned that, there should be a shift change tomorrow or really soon. Well, shift change of like who's doing what work and everything. So, Tan Tai Hu, this irrelevant character, at least that I thought was irrelevant before, when he was like, I don't like that Shun bastard, but I was like, I don't feel good about it. He's back. He's the vice commander, again, for anyone who needs that reminder, of the Imperial Army. He happens to see Shun Zitren, and he decided to cause trouble. Because what is he? He is a troublemaker. You said nothing is irrelevant in QJJ. Great writer. Clearly not. But you see me, I still notated it. I still mentioned it because I'm like, maybe everything is important. So I thought maybe he wasn't important, but here he is, which is why even like I wrote Ding Tao and Gu Jing's names. They're not in the back, but I'm like, maybe they're still important enough or they show up enough. So trying to make sure we stay on top of everything. So he mocks Shun Zitren and his looks and his leisurely life. No, I can't just talk about this in my notes. We're going to have to go to it because this man genuinely pissed me off. Like, I wanted to hop into this chapter and whoop his ass. Anybody else with me? If not, then let's talk about it. So then you can want to jump into the book and whoop his ass with me. Okay, you said it is a huge cast of well-developed side characters. Yeah. Okay, good to know. So, where are we? So first off, of course, he's like, you the son of Shun Wei. And he was like, you said whoop. And he's like, are you looking for me or my old man? And he's basically like, duh, your old man is dead. I'm looking for you. And so he just goes on to mock Shun Zitren for the way he looks. You know, he's got this beautiful body, nice robust ass, and he's like, you know, you just been living all comfortable in your pampered life, you know, you're looking like one of these pampered courtesans and everything. And it's just like, he's like, you got a slender waist and peach blossom eyes, looking like a fox. And he's like, what are you doing here with our commander? And he was like, you know what, Shun Wei did some bootlicking. So what are you gonna do? You know, what you gonna do for our commander so that you can live the life that you're living? And Shun Zitren is like, what, you gonna revoke my authority token or something? Like, what are we doing here? Can we just not? And he's like, I would not waste my time on doing something like that. He was like, you don't even deserve to be kicked by me. Like, what? He was like, I'm being so courteous and nice just by talking to you. So you need to learn some respect. And then he was like, since you've become a man's Xiao Chiyes plaything, then let me enlighten you on your reality. You're no man. Woo, this man is bold. So not only are you the moment you dislike this guy for real, it's like not only did you talk about his looks as if it's a bad thing. Like I can't stand it when people just look naturally beautiful or have a certain look about them and then people proceed to disparage them because of their looks, kind of like women with more robust bodies. They will feel shamed because of what people say and feel like they have to wear baggy clothes because, if they wear jeans or if they wear leggings and it's going to show their curves, or if they wear tank tops, it's going to show the boobs and stuff like that. Like, we as a society are making people feel bad, not for dressing provocatively, but simply for having the kind of body that they have. And that's just what I felt was coming from Tan Tai Hu while you mocking his looks. And then you have the audacity to say that he is Xiao Chiyes plaything. But not only that, it's the audacity that you have to talk about Xiao Chiye indirectly, basically saying that he has let this fox, if you will, this person that you hate and despise so much, that he has let someone into his bed, to curb them, yes, I'll just put it that way. So it's just like, what do you think, he bribed him or something? But anyway, You said, okay, I'm gonna say something controversial, but one thing I enjoy about QJJ is that not all characters are same note. There are geniuses, there are dumbasses. Gestures, dumbass, right here. So anyway, he's talking, and Shunta Chen is just like, bruh, this was given to me by the Son of Heaven, okay, the Emperor. And he's like, this is my token of authority. If anything, if I'm a plaything, then we all play things because we're just fulfilling our duties for the one that gave us our duties. So, of course, this pisses off Tantai Hu. And he's like, you? Me? The same thing? No, we are not. Okay. Okay. And this is where I get really pissed off. On page 389, I get pissed off again later, but he says, my brothers, why did I put this sticky note? Okay. My brothers were in the sinkhole at Chashire River. Do you have any idea what that was like? Those men were still alive when they were shot with arrow after arrow until they looked like pincushions. 30,000 men were buried in the sinkhole. 30,000 men. And Sun Tzu mainly is just looking at him like, okay. And so he goes on to say, his parents were in Dengzhou as well. When the Biansha horsemen came, Shun Wei, he fled, and his family was massacred. The whole city was massacred. Multiple cities were massacred. And even his sister, his little sister, was raped and then killed at the city gates. And he's like, and here you are, living a comfortable life without a care in the world. Stick your ass out for someone to fuck, and you can be pardoned of all sins. I hope YouTube does not censor what I just said, or I don't know. And then he goes on, being a dumbass, saying, all of you young masters born with silver spoons in your mouths. So first off, let's just go back. Tantai Hu, you are aware that he was at the Chashire sinkhole, right? You are aware, I know Jile didn't believe him because he thought they were somewhere else, but you are aware that he at least confessed that his brother, Jin Mu, shielded him with his body in the sinkhole and took those arrows so that Shen Zichuan could live. You are aware that he was in the sinkhole and had to experience hearing the cries and the groans and moans of all those men who were getting slaughtered, which is a very horrifying and traumatic experience. Are you not aware that his Shurnyang got killed and probably the same, raped and then killed? You are aware, talking about a silver spoon in his mouth, that the man was just in the temple of guilt for 5 years, where it was extremely cold and he was sick at some point. You are aware of these things, are you not? I guess not. Because how could you say all of these things like he didn't lose all of his family as well? The only family he has left is Ji Gang. So what the hell are you talking about? What silver spoon? What experiences have you experienced that he didn't experience? In fact, it's even worse because not only did he know about Chashire Sinkhole, he was there. That's even more traumatic than you not being there, but hearing about what happened. And then having to carry the burden of knowing it was his father that caused this shitstorm, that he has to carry the burden of being a shun and having such a horrid reputation, even though he himself, who was not even associated with his father, had to carry that reputation. I'm sorry, I feel like I just spazzed out for a moment. I had to bring myself back. The audacity. This is why I just hate it when people go off on people who don't deserve something. Even if he doesn't know all of this, what he does know is that Shun Wei is not Shun Zichuan. Shun Zhichuan is not Shun Wei. Shun Wei did things, Shun Zhichuan didn't. So, regardless of anything else, why are you coming to the child who did nothing? Anyway, let me read these comments. I feel like I missed some. At that part, I was like, dude, Shun Zhichuan also lost his family there. It's not common knowledge he was in sinkhole, so much prejudice. So okay, so he doesn't know. But again, still, like I said, it's not like only one person had gone through certain experiences. Exactly. Nor how he lived as a kid. Come on. You have no idea how he lived. What silver spoon are you talking about? This boy was born of common birth. When his elder brother, got favor, he sent away all of his younger siblings to a certain area where they were not treated properly. His maid servant or whatever she was taking his food, his rations, if you will. He was living such a hard life that another family, Jigang and his wife, were like, oh, please take him away from there and bring him here. What silver spoon? It was a rusted spoon. Huh? Anyway. You said what the soldiers know is that he was captured by Xiao Jiming and that he was brought back to the capital. That's what normal people would think of him. The next they know is that he was not killed, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, they were there. Not even the emperor made all the decisions. Water, March. Well, it's going to be Gatorade, but yes. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I guess after that rant, I did need. But yes, we know that in the past, children bore the guilt of their parents, and that's even something that's not just in Chinese culture. That's in so many cultures. Like even when reading the Bible, for example, it talks about punishments that, if certain generations do certain things, then their next generation is going to have to carry that curse, carry that burden. So that's definitely something I'm familiar with. I'm a rant about it anyway. Because what the hell? So he said children pay for their parents' sins almost always. Yeah. Even if they don't pay for it, like in the world, by having to literally take the guilt for what their parent did, we pay for our parents' sins. Even if it's in psychological ways where we are mentally disrupted by the things that they have done, we pay for it. And eventually, it's up to us to realize that we aren't just victims of what our parents did. And when our parents don't be caring, Shunwei, the hell? You didn't care about any of your kids. None of them. Not none of them, but none of them. So anyway, rusted spoon would at least give you some iron for the blood. Oh, God. Yes, I know that none of them know about his childhood, but I'm just saying, like, that's the thing, though. The issue is he doesn't know about his life, and he just automatically assumes that he was, given a silver spoon. That's why I say don't talk on things that you don't know about. He doesn't know about all the details, all the fine print about what actually went down. But what he does know is that Shun Zhichuan is not Shun Wei. What he does know is that Shun Wei is the one who committed the crimes. So he doesn't know about Shun Zhichuan's upbringing. So don't speak on it. That's how I personally feel. Like when it comes to topics of conversation, in this world, when people want to talk about certain things, if I don't have the knowledge, I don't speak. I don't open my mouth, because what am I going to do? Look like a fool talking about things that I have no idea about. This is when people ask me political questions. Well, first of all, I just don't like talking about politics. But I'm just like, yeah, go talk to somebody else about this, because I have no clue. You said Tantai He's elder brother was publicly killed by Shun Wei and his elder son. Yeah, that is something I think that was mentioned in the next chapter that we haven't gotten to yet. But again, regardless, never judge a book by its cover. No one should judge people by their family background or anything else. Yeah, no one should. It's unfortunate then that's what we do though. So anyway, now that we've calmed down, Shun Zhichuan, after he lets Tan Tai-Hu say all that he wants, which I think is great, like he just lets him spaz. He's like, okay, I'm gonna let him sit and say whatever it is that he wants to say. Let him get his rocks off. In the end, he's like, okay, so who you gonna settle the score with? Because settling the score with me does absolutely nothing. He was like, I ain't got no family for real. If you kill me, that may appease the people, but it doesn't really solve the problem. He's like, what really is the problem is the Biansha horsemen who did all the killing. Go take your grievances to them. Go murk them. Go kill them. So he's like, yes, Shun Wei, he shrank from battle. Okay, that is what he did. But he was like, but where were y'all? Y'all had I think, what was it, like a month? Let me check. Let me make sure. Yeah, he said it took a month for the Biansha horsemen to enter our territory across the banks of the Chashi River and reach Dengzhou. When he shrank back from battle, Shun Wei, you valiant iron-willed men should have snapped his neck and risen up to fortify the city's defenses. So he's like, you can humiliate me. I don't give two Fs. You can kill me. I still don't give two Fs. But what is it going to mean? Nothing. Because the root of the problem, the root of this hurt and pain and devastation that you're still feeling, it's with the Biansha horsemen. Kill me if you want. You're still going to be pissed. You're still going to have this enemy to deal with. And I love that response. He's just like, I mean, if you want to kill me, then kill me. Because the guy's like, don't try to take yourself out of it, like to make yourself not guilty. He's like, okay, then kill me. Go ahead. I'll stand right here and let you do it. And he was like, then the Shun Wei line would just be completely gone. Okay. So this man, this fool, Tan Tai-Hu, gears himself up. Yes. He gets to his feet, pulls out his blades, and charges at Shun Zhichuan. Ding Tao. By the way, I like him. I like Ding Tao. Ding Tao gets cool points. And here's why Ding Tao gets cool points. Because he's just woken up. He's just entering when he sees all this mess happening. He's like, whoa, don't hurt him. Hold up, Tan Tai-Hu, what are you doing? I'm supposed to be watching him. It's like, see, you lost him again. First, which was funny. But anyway, he, of course, Tan Tai-Hu ain't hearing him, you know, and he, Ding Tao ends up getting grabbed, held back by Gujin. And he's like, yo, like he lost his entire family in Zhongbo. You can't expect him to let go this innocent person. You can't expect him to let Shun Zhichuan go. And I love Ding Tao because he's like, but wasn't it Shun Wei that did these deeds? What does that have to do with Shun Zhichuan? Nobody says anything, but Gujin does not let him go. Chen Yang still standing there watching. He's seeing all of this escalate, but he ain't saying anything. He's not doing anything. Okay, you said being helpless is easy to be pissed off about. Yeah. That's why it's wrong to judge. I try to do less of it. One never knows. You know, honestly, I don't think it's wrong to judge. Because like judging in general is something that we have to do daily, like in a very generic sense, if you will. We have to judge if it's safe to cross the street or not. Are the cars coming? Are they at a red light? That is a judgment call we make. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with judging. I just think there's a problem when you judge in ignorance. And I also think there's a problem when you hypocritically judge. When, actually, I guess the best example, which I might be misquoting it, and I don't really care because y'all get the point. I think somewhere in the Bible, it's like you're judging your brother who has a tiny little speck in his eye. Meanwhile, you got like this huge log in your eye. So it's like before you judge people about what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're acting. Like, how do you check yourself? So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with judging. I mean, that's why we have judges. But I just think it's wrong when you judge in ignorance, and when you judge in prejudice, when you are judging from any negative point of view, if you will. That's how I feel about it. So, but yeah, remove that log from your eye first. First, not their speck. So then we have this picture. Since we've reached a picture point, let me show. Ain't he good looking? Look at him. He's good looking. Also, I'm assuming that's Ding Tao in the background. He's like, oh no. He's so cute. And we all know who Tantai Who is, because look at him. Not gonna lie, he looks like a standard handsome. He's still a dumbass though. You said concubines claim ignorance to avoid punishment by the main wife. Bruh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Jesus, whoever is free of sin, let them throw the first rock. Watch everybody be like, because they all were guilty. Oh gosh. So we have it. He's charging at him, right? And at some point, actually, when they were arguing, he like grabbed Shunta Chen by the collar, and Shunta Chen was like, "Faja!" Sorry, I think I forgot to mention that in this whole thing, and everybody was like, "Oh." So anyway, now he's charging at him again. At the same time, the vice minister of the Ministry of War is coming out of the tent, if you will. I'm gonna say it's the tent, and yeah, like the curtain in front of the office, I'm sorry, has been lifted. Yes, the office, not a tent. You're not on the battleground. He's coming out of the office. And this guy, this vice minister of the Ministry of War, his name is Yang Zongzhi. So he's about to get sliced and diced because, of course, Shun Zhichuan dodges. He's not going to let this guy kill him for real, even though he said kill him. I think he was really like, if you can, kill me. So anyway, this guy is about to get sliced and diced when most tip flaps in series Chapeau. Yes, the tip flaps are there, not here. And so he's about to get sliced and diced, but Xiao Chuye is like, sing, sing. Mind you, Chen Yang was about to grab the hilt, but Xiao Chuye was faster. Mind you, once more, Chen Yang had watched all of this take place. Chen Yang is who? Xiao Chuye's right-hand man. Coming straight from the Li Bei army. And he just let all of this take place. So, of course, Xiao Chuye apologizes to the vice minister, and the vice minister is like, get out of here. Oh my gosh. And he's gone. I would be too. Okay. And the vice minister of war. I'm not a part of the people that fight. I'm just the minister. Okay. You know, like, calm down with all of that. So he's gone. And of course, immediately, the whole army is like, pardon our offense, Supreme Commander. They're like, oh shit, he's out here. And we just almost murked somebody. We just almost killed this guy. So Xiao Chuye is like, apparently I failed to discipline my subordinates. So they're going to get disciplined. And it's interesting because Chen Yang was finally aware that, like, oh shit, he messed up, and he messed up big time. So he starts to speak, and then Xiao Chuye is like, yeah, you've watched the show long enough. Zhao Hui wouldn't have done such a thing. Immediately shuts down Chen Yang, who pales and everything. And so we get a little history, which I'm glad that I read this, because in one of the character charts on our Discord, the fully developed one for the whole story, it had mentioned that these two were brothers. I don't think that's the case. And I'm going to explain why. Because here it says that this was a contest between brothers of the same clan. And I feel like if they were brothers, it would have just said brothers, like it so clearly said for Xiao Zhiye and Xiao Jiming, brothers. But this is saying they're brothers of the same clan. So they're just coming from the same place. Like, I don't know about that, but nevertheless, they've been with each other for a very long time. You know, it's kind of like looking at Mo Zhao Zushi and, you know, Lan Wangji is brothers with some other disciple, but they're not actual brothers, you know, compared to his actual brother. So, yeah, Shuxiong, if you will. That's what they are, Shuxiong, Marshall brothers. So, yeah, just for anyone on the Discord who may have watched, I mean, who may have looked at that official character chart and saw that it connected them as brothers, I'm connecting them as Marshall brothers. They are from the same clan, but maybe not necessarily brothers. Maybe we could figure that out more later, but I also highly doubt it because one's name is Chun, the other surname is Zhao. Why would they have different names if they've been there? So anyway, basically it's saying that Xiao Chuye, of course, he wouldn't reprimand Chun Yang in front of everybody because then he would lose face. How would he be able to face those soldiers and everything after that? So, but he knows that those words hit him the deepest, okay? Because Chun Yang and Zhao Hui, both of them were handpicked by Xiao Fangshu, Xiao Chuye's daddy. And we have Zhao Hui, who's this very like calm person. He is under Xiao Jiming's command, Xiao Chuye's older brother. So that's where they are. He's gotten so many amazing military deeds, and it's just amazing, right? Then he was apparently a deputy general, and like nobody would disrespect Zhao Hui. Meanwhile, Chen Yang, just put it like that. He is with Xiao Chuye. So they have this little whole contest of being compared to each other because they are under the sons of the Xiao clan, if you will. They're basically, they should be at the same level, but they're really not, though. Zhao Hui has many more militaristic accomplishments under his belt. So, um, let's see. When we continue to go on, and I just want to make sure because I haven't been looking at my notes as of late. Wait a minute. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay. Before we get all the way to there, we do have him talking. Xiao Chuye talks to Tan Tai Hu, and Tan Tai Hu basically feels like he didn't do anything wrong. And he's like, okay, if you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, then hand in your badge. Because according to you, my authority obviously means jack shit. Like once you get to my position, you can do whatever the hell you want. But for the time being, this was the rule that I had set. You are the vice commander. I am the commander, which means everything that I say is above all. But since you feel like that you did nothing wrong, then you can go. And Tantai Hu is like, really? For this guy, for this piece of ass, you're going to do that? And he's like, this ain't got nothing to do with him. You're not respecting my word. So go. And it turns out he leaves. He goes. He's like, this isn't over yet. Shunta Chen. Brothers, until we meet again. So there's that. You said overall, this is such an important scene. It shows how great of a leader Xiao Chuye is. He handled it so well, especially with Chun Yang. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this definitely shows how great of a leader, how wise of a leader he is, you know, which we'll get more into in this chapter, I believe. Chapter 39, Vicious Beast. So we have Chun Yang and the Imperial Army generals. They're all kneeling. Everybody's kneeling because they all know that they messed up. And, you know, Xiao Chuye is like, oh, didn't y'all have fun not too long ago saying that I'm a man who falls to lust and everything? Where's all that noise now? Huh? Huh? And they're like, Everybody's silent because they knew they messed up. And I think that this was vital because, yes, these little rumors that were going around would disparage his reputation, would have people looking at him in a new and lesser light. So this was something that he definitely needed to nip in the bud. You did a prayer for all them fictional set of knees. Sets of knees. Oh gosh. So we have all them kneeling, but Chun Yang is actually, in the same room with Xiao Chuye. And Xiao Chuye, he basically is like, he demanded authority 5 years ago when he first joined, and they clearly, weren't really feeling him and all. But he demanded their authority. He was also fair to them. He treated them well. He made sure that they all got their just dues, if you will, even to the point that sometimes he would use his own money to take care of these soldiers because he valued them, he respected them, and in return demanded respect. So wonderful guy. It was mentioned previously that Shan Zitran knew that he'd been living a pretty frugal life. People were thinking that Xiao Chuye was out there spending money extravagantly and everything, but he wasn't. He was being very frugal. Now we know because he was taking care of his people. He was taking care of his men. And so we have that after the autumn hunt, he realized that all those soldiers, they got a little cocky because they used to be nothing for a long time. But now they had done something great. And they're like, remember the 8th grade battalions and the embroidered uniform guard? They used to be able to boss us around and everything. But now it's our turn. He's like, okay, they get a little bit too big headed. And so he did need a moment where he could put them in check again. I was gonna snap my y'all. Where he needed to put them in check again. And so he goes to Chun Yang. Well, he's about to leave. And Chun Yang is like, Master, please give me whatever punishment you want to give me. And so Xiao Chuye goes on this whole simple but very profound little rant. And he was just basically like, when I said that Zhao Hui would never do this, I don't know why you got so flustered by being compared to this man. Because when I said it, it wasn't necessarily in comparison to who's the greater, soldier or anything like that. But this is Zhao Hui wouldn't have done what you allowed to happen today because he would have considered my Ge's reputation. He would have considered Xiao Jiming. You stood there, you let it all happen. In fact, you arranged to make sure that Tan Tai Hu was on a shift where he could see Shan Zichuan so that he can get his rocks off, so that he could vent his anger, which in turn allowed him to say things that were bad for my reputation, all because you wanted to get some favor. You wanted to get on some people's good side, and you wanted this instant gratification. He would have never done that. He would have considered the authority above him, unlike you just did. And I was like, dang. And then he was like, after that, you don't need to follow me for the next couple of days. I have someone else do it. So that was a tense moment. And yeah, I was just like, dang. Na, 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 na. Okay, so even after that, Shan Zitran, from this whole ordeal, realizes that Xiao Chuye is actually a really good leader. He also realizes that he took the opportunity to solve several things all at once. And I'm trying to flip to the page. Okay, well, I'll get there in a second, but it had mentioned that over the past few days from all the kneeling and everything like that, Chun Yang, he had some problems with his foot injury. And even in the midst of this whole punishment, or just this eerie moment of dissatisfaction and punishment, if you will, Xiao Chuye, he got this rare medical ointment for Chun Yang. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Apparently, only received from Master Yi Dong like a few years ago. Xiao Jiming had received it, gave some to his brother, it appears, and he gave it to Chun Yang because, and this was not Chun Yang acting like he was in pain. This wasn't Chun Yang like, oh my gosh, now my feet hurt or anything like that. But because Xiao Chuye knows his man. He knows his guy, his right hand, and he knows what his ailments are. And even in the midst of everything that happened, he was like, hey, here's some medicine. I know you need this because I know that you're uncomfortable. Even though I meted out this punishment, here's the remedy for the burden that you now carry or that's more prominent now that I've made you kneel. And I was just like, again, really great leading because yes, he had to give out the punishment, absolutely, but I love that he was still so considerate. And because I don't know, I feel like some people, especially when it comes to parents, which this is not a parent child scenario, but I feel like sometimes when children are in trouble with their parents will act a certain way toward them the entire time. Even after maybe the punishment is lifted, the parents just still have this air about them like, "Ugh, you were in trouble. You're on punishment. So we don't get to have good times. I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing that for you. If you have a problem, it is what it is." But in this case, he was like, yeah, I gave you a punishment, but I know that you have this ailment. Here you go. So I appreciate that very much. You said kind of like Gumon taking care of his guys. Absolutely. So then what is happening? I seriously, this is going to piss me off. What is happening? Okay. So then we have, yes, I'm in the right spot. So we have Chun Yang who goes to, no, why do I feel like I'm missing something? Hold up. Hold up, you guys. Oh, I do want to mention that one of the things that Xiao Trieste said to Chen Yang was on page 399. He said, brothers who fight among themselves and families who draw swords on each other are a rotten lot. They'll destroy themselves before outsiders ever lift a finger. And this was a thing that was extremely important because he's like, you're letting this happen. You're allowing discord to be sown in our family. What we got to worry about the enemy for? If we got people not respecting me, we got people that are talking, behind each other's backs and stuff like that, then we're not with one accord. And that's going to show when we go into battle. Yes, that's what I thought I was missing. And I'm like, where? I'm trying to find the page for it because I'm like, wait, what am I missing? I think I may have mixed the two chapters together. So hold on. Don't you all love calling me a fool blinded by lust? Oh yeah, I did just go straight into this one. Hold up. You said also foreshadowing. You think, yeah, I'm thinking, but then when I'm looking right here, that actually is not the case. It hasn't happened in chapter 39. I mean, 38. So let me just. Da-da-da-da. 1 second, because I think it might be here in Vicious Beast. Yep, still talking to Chun Yang. Why are you so anxious about being compared? Okay, yes. So, no, I didn't skip it. Okay, we were all good to go. I just had to look at it. Okay, so then eventually we do have where it said like the next, few days or whatever, Shun Chen, he woke up, he had a good night's sleep, which yay. Also, yay. Family rotten inside, don't need enemy, foreshadowing. I could see that. Yeah. Everywhere. I'm gonna just stop trusting everybody. No, just kidding. I'm like, I'm suspicious of everyone, including the main characters. So then Shunta wakes up, he had a good sleep or whatever, and then he is waiting beside the carriage for Xiao Triye. Eventually, Xiao Chuye comes out. They get in the carriage together, and I think it is um, Gujin who's riding the carriage. Yeah, that's what it is. And so they're going on their way, and Xiao Chuye and Shen Zhichuan are having a little conversation. And Xiao Chuye is like, "Oh, it's cold," because Xiao Chuye had pressed his hands against Shen Zhichuan's. And so they are just sitting there together, being close, touchy feely, and everything. And Xiao Chuye is like, "You look unhappy," and Shen Zhichuan is like, "I'm happy. You defended me. Yay." And then Xiao Chuye is like, "I didn't do that. I wasn't speaking up for anybody at all." And then Shen Zhichuan is like, "Okay, maybe not. But now that you've like gotten your reverence back in order, now that they know where everybody stands, when you gonna give them their little reward, huh?" Because that's how you do it: carrot and stick, carrot and stick. So you gave them the stick. When are you gonna give them their carrot? Because that's how this works. And Xiao Chuye doesn't say anything at first, and so then Shen Zhichuan just keeps talking, and he's like, "You know what? You are excellent at governing. You really are. You were able to use me as the target basically for all of this. You basically defended from that whole scenario. You were able to defend your authority, intimidate people, and then maybe have somebody warm your bed. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Who was it earlier that said y'all think that Shen Zhichuan really wants Xiao Chuye to sleep with him? And he's like, "What's taking so long?" He was like, "You killed 3 birds with 1 stone." Like, very, very impressive. And so then he goes on to says, "It's just a pity, though." And Xiao Chuye is like, "What's a pity?" And he was like, "Everybody thinks you've been spending your nights banging me, but do they even know that you're like pulling up a satay next to the bed and sleeping on that while I sleep in the bed?" Essentially. He's like, "You haven't even touched me at all. You haven't had sex with me." And that's the cleaner way of saying it. And so he's about to get up and leave, but then Xiao Chuye is like, "Oh, so you want me to have sex with you? Is that what you're saying?" And then Shen Zhichuan is like, "Yeah, I don't want anybody who has eyes like yours. They're too fierce." And then that's it. Xiao Chuye is left in his little thirst trap, in Shen Zhichuan's thirst trap. So then we move on to the next section, which also shows how great of a leader Xiao Chuye is, calling him out for tactics, calculation, and being, while absolutely impressed. Yes, because I mean, this whole time Xiao Chuye has been calling Shen Zhichuan very cunning, not being able to read him and knowing what he's doing. And it's like, you are as well, in your own way, very cunning, very calculating. You know what you're doing, sir. And I see you, and I like that about you. So I just say Shen Zhichuan is contradicting himself, because he's not into men, but then you say it's a pity that he hasn't slept with you yet. I mean, one could argue that he's saying it's a pity that people think this is your reputation, but this is really how you've been, which could be the case. But I also think he's saying it's a pity you haven't tried anything yet, and I'm just wondering, like, when are you going to do this? So anyway, we move on. You said punctuation. LOL. Unfortunately, I don't even think the punctuation helps, because he just says such a pity, though. Like, that's the sentence. So it's not even the punctuation, it's just the meaning. Like, what you mean? Is this a double meaning here? What are you saying? So then we move to the next scene where we have Tan Tai Hu and him going home and everything. And he just goes through these, like, we go through this whole thing where basically him being in the Imperial Army, of course, was taking care of not only himself, but also his children, his 3 adopted children. Yeah. Where are we? Yes. It was later on this page. Yeah. So this money that he was getting was draining him dry to take care of himself take care of his children. And his decision to, I'm not even talking about his decision to like spaz out at Shunzi Chuan, but his decision to not humble himself and apologize for what he'd done allowed him to make a rash decision. And what was that rash decision? Throwing in his token. When Xiao Chuye initially came out and was like, you don't think you did anything wrong? He didn't even take a moment to think about it, take a moment to repent, or even even if he didn't feel like he did anything wrong, he could have said, I should have respected your orders. But he didn't. And that made a rash decision. So then he was like, oh man, how am I going to take care of my kids? Maybe I could be a debt collector. Maybe I could be a loan shark. Like, I don't know what to do. And it's sorry. And it's just like, you should have thought about that. Or you threw your token down. So I'm going to drink some Powerade. Pride plus stupidity plus impulse. Yes, PSI. Or if we put pride plus impulse plus stupidity, piss. Okay. So while he's sitting there thinking about what am I going to do to take care of myself and my little kiddos who were orphans at a very young age, after Zhongbo, who comes? Chun Yang. And he's like, money, Happy New Year. It's almost here. And Chun Yang is like, I don't work for the Imperial Army anymore. Like, I'm not on their payroll. I shouldn't be getting any money. Which also, I'm just kind of like, what's their payment system? Because I get paid after I do the work. So, like, you've done the work, some work, so here's your money. But I don't know what their payment system is. Anyway, so then Chun Yang goes on to say, you have tiger in your name, but it doesn't mean you have to be a brute. Which I thought was funny. But let me show you guys this. Because I think I've shown you all before. No, I think I've told you all before, but I've never shown you. So Tantai Hu, I don't know what the Tantai is spelled like, but I can at the very least show you what the Hu looks like, which is the tiger from Lao Hu. So this is Hu right here. That's a fun looking character. Doesn't look like a tiger at all. Or maybe it does. All these lines look like the stripes. So anyway, that's what he meant. It's literally in his name. So anyway, he's just like, why are you still holding a grudge? That's not even how we do things. This is what you did. You shouldn't have done it. You should have respected the Supreme Commander. And the rules. Lack of respect is a taboo. You understand that, right? And of course, Tantai Hu is like, well, what am I supposed to do? When I see Shunzi Chuan, like, what do you think? I think of my parents. I think of all the suffering. So what am I supposed to do? And Chun Yang is like, even so, you shouldn't have humiliated him because in turn, you ended up insulting the Supreme Commander. And that is a huge problem. And he's like, you followed this man for many, many years. You know his temperament. You know how he is, yet you still shot off. You said end of year bonuses? ? He's like, you should have known better. And he was like, look, even I was wrong. I'll admit that. I did not stop you. That was my mistake. So all you got to do is admit your mistake and accept your punishment, receive it, okay? And he was like, a real man knows when he needs to resist and when he needs to submit. And you got 3 kiddos, sir, and you don't know what you're going to do to take care of them? You need to submit. I put that little extra part in there, not Chun Yang. But he was like, are you really going to burn this bridge? So Tantai Hu goes on his stupid rant again. Basically, well, first he's like, I don't know what to do. I threw in my authority token. And it's like, well, obviously Chun Yang is coming to you, telling you to go take it back. Like, apologize for your wrongs and then get your token back. That's literally what he's saying. Are you really a brute? So Then, he goes on saying, I risk my life for Shoucher. Yeah, I would lay down my life for him over and over again, but I'm scared that that little fox that's next to him is going to lead him astray. Blah, blah, snore. And here's the thing that really pissed me off, because it goes back to what I said before. He said, oh, yeah, I heard Ding Tao saying something about the fact that it's not his fault. Sure. Who doesn't know that? So again, I don't care if he doesn't know about Shunzitran's history. I don't care if he doesn't know that Shunzitran was in the Chashire sinkhole. He clearly knows that what went down was not Shunzitran's fault, which is why I said what I said. I hate people who know that they're wrong, or know that what they believe is wrong, yet still persist in their wrongness just because they are hurt, just because they don't want to apologize and say that they were wrong, and they just want to stew in their mess, in their madness. Hate it so freaking much. So, like, I don't know if things will get better with this guy or whatever, but I don't like Tan Tai Hu. And I don't see myself liking Tan Tai Hu, even if things go well between him and Xiao Chuye, because I don't like people who know that they're wrong and will still do this, still think this way. Because you're like, okay, who doesn't know that? But if you were in my shoes, how would you feel about this? Like this, what did he say? This isn't just a dead dog. This is my parents and my siblings, and goes on to say anyone would be appalled to see a man they despise waved in front of their face, let alone with whom they have a blood debt. So you despise an innocent man. You're making that known. You said he had nothing. It's not his fault. So you are despising an innocent person, and you feel justified in it because you lost your family. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I think this is all my notes said anyway. So, yeah. Honestly, I mean, clearly he doesn't know, but I guess so. Yeah, this note is irrelevant then. Actually, no. I'm going to spin this note somehow. So originally, my note was talking about their commonalities. So Tan Tai Hu might not know about the similarities that both he and Shunzitran share, but if he actually took out the time to understand the whole situation and try to figure out more information if he possibly could, then he would realize that he and Shunzitran had more in common than they had in their grief than they do in their differences. If he would just stop focusing on the surname, then he would realize that, like, oh, if he got the knowledge, that is. So anyway, towards the end, basically, Chung Yang is like, so do you not want to go fight the Biansha horsemen? Because remember when Xiao Chuye was fighting for you all to be in the Imperial Army and everything, you said compassion for our fellow men in this economy? Look, I'm gonna just start saying in this economy for everything. I think I saw a TikTok video about that. For every single thing, instead of saying no, just be like, in this economy? It's like, you want me to go to the grocery store with you in this economy? We need to go get our oil changed on the car in this economy? It's like, yes. Oh my gosh. So anyway, Chen Yang is saying, Xiao Chuye basically stood up for Tan Tai Hu and the others like him, the other soldiers, basically, who were not native to Chudu, and the Ministry of War disapproved of them. And his whole thing was the wounds that we suffered, the humiliation that we suffered, and the vengeance that is ours. We haven't gotten that yet. We haven't been relieved of our humiliation and all of that stuff. And until that day passes, like it's so much more gratifying if we are able to get our lick back. If we are able to ride out together and defeat the enemy. And he's like, do you not remember this? And Tantai Hu was like, of course I remember. Like, how could I ever forget? I would literally give my life for Xiao Triet if that day were to ever come. And so Chen Yang is like, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Like, he's like, we're done here. Brothers don't hold grudges. From the Supreme Commander treats us as brothers. He took his own money to give this to you. Okay. So what you need to do, get your feelings in the right place, come back after the new year and return to your duties. My guy. Like, come on. And then he leaves. And it says that Tantai Hu had mixed feelings. What those mixed feelings are, don't know. They're not mentioned again. So, so that's pretty much it for that chapter. The last two chapters, I'm lumping them in as one chapter. Chapter 40, Tearing and Biting. Chapter 41, Lanzhou, Part 1. Okay. Anybody ready for this chapter? Hold on. You love this chapter. So, chapter 40, Tearing and Biting. We have fresh vegetables laid out on a table where Xiao Triya is, all gifted by Li Jianheng, aka the Emperor. And Xiao Triya and Shen Zichuan are eating dinner together like a happy little couple. And he's like, we got all these side dishes that are accompanying the main course to invigorate the spleen and eliminate toxins. Now, this is from a recipe from the Garden of Contentment. I don't know. I didn't look it up, and maybe I should have, but I just felt like there was some kind of innuendo in there to invigorate the spleen and eliminate toxins. And let me just see. Why is my keyboard still in Mandarin? You said to invigorate something at least. I mean, the spleen is like somewhere in the chest or whatever, but still, yeah, it's not anywhere near there, you know. But still, I was just like, it did invigorate something. So anyway, he's like, come on and get your fill, eat food with me. So then while they're eating, Xiao Triya is, and I think it said, hold on, that they didn't even eat the meat. Yeah, it said neither touch the meat dishes because those are a lot heavier. So they knew what they were doing. because when you anyway, let me go. So Xiao Triya is talking and basically telling Shun Zichuan, like, hey, my Shifu is coming into town. I would love if we could get Jigong and him together to have, some time together. And Shun Zichuan is like, this is a Hongmeng banquet. Basically, is this supposed to be a festival banquet, if you will, like this, a welcome home, a celebration, but really a stabbing them in the back. And Xiao Triya is like, it's really just a New Year's celebration. They are the only two left in their family. I just want them to have a moment to meet with each other. So Shen Zichuan is like, okay, I'll let Jigong, my Shifu, know, and we'll get it together. Okay. So after that, Shen Zichuan is like, okay, I'm full. I'm going to go take a bath. You stay right here. Then you take your time. Boom, boom, boom. Poor Xiao Triya. This man can't quench his thirst. He can't at all. Every time he's with Shen Zichuan. Because what happens, Shen Zichuan goes to take his bath. He's like, you take your time eating and everything. And then through the veil, if you will, Xiao Chuye is able to see his silhouette through the screen, not the veil, the screen. And, he can see that he's removing his robe, prying off layer after layer. And there's just like, some light dancing on the curve of his nape and everything. And Xiao Chuye is just like, fuck. He's like, oh my God, I need. And so it just says, when he lowered his head to untie his belt, butter yellow light danced along the curve of his nape, a velvet touch upon that pristine surface. Looking at him through the screen was like scratching an itch through a boot, which I know is very insufficient. If I've ever like had an itch on my foot or an itch like on my ankle with shoes on and like trying to get to it, it just ain't working. He said whoever is in charge of heating the water, those fuckers, probably. It was beautifully described, scratching itch. Oh, yes. With all the baths, there is no water left to drink. Guess they're gonna have to switch to Powerade. And so he's just having the time of his life, right? Because he really, really wants Shun Tren. Like it said, he is a different kind of allure. It was said a gentleman possessed all the virtues of jade, yet the jade-like qualities Shun Tren possessed gave him a wholly different kind of allure. With those eyes and that smile, he exuded a sensual appeal even without meaning to. So he just screaming sex appeal and he don't even know it, or so it seems. And the only reason I said so it seems is because, it's like all these thoughts are invading Xiao Chuye's mind. And it says, meanwhile, Shun Tren seemed entirely oblivious to it. So we don't know if this guy is really oblivious to his sex appeal or if he knows and he just act like he don't know. But he knows and he be doing little things here and there to tease our poor Xiao Chuye. So that's that. Then we get a little history on Zuo Tianqiu again. You said, I think Aya thinks so, but alas. So then, oopsie, I hit my mic. So then both of the guys get into the beds, in their own beds or whatever, and they're about to go to sleep. Meanwhile, Xiao Chuye is playing with his little thumb ring, and he goes back to a memory. So what we learn is that this thumb ring was not originally his Shifu's, Zuo Tianqiu. It actually belonged to Feng Yisheng of the Zuotian Pass, and when Feng Yisheng died in battle, he left it to Zuo Tianqiu. Now, of course, Xiao Chuye has it, but this ring that he has is what also, I guess, well, I guess the ring has nothing to do with it. He was just wearing it. But we learn about Zuo Tianqiu making a name for himself at the Tianfei Watchtower, but also being the death of himself. He's still alive, we know, because he's on his way to Chudu, but the death in here. So what happens is at the Tianfei Watchtower, we know that he was accomplishing some amazing feats while there was battle and everything, but his wife got taken hostage. And so he had to choose essentially between like surrendering to hopefully get his wife back or fighting to the death. He couldn't choose both. And so to make the decision easier, that's not the right word, he shoots an arrow, very precise shot, and he kills his own wife. And of course, it says after that, his hair turned white. And so that night, his heart died. He died. And honestly, learning about the fact that, he ended his wife's life, I can only assume that, of course, it was number one, to eliminate vulnerabilities, which he had talked about with Xiao Chuye before about desires, but also based on the Biancha, I mean, not Biancha, but based on the pattern, to save her from humiliation, sexual humiliation, that is. So she didn't even have to go through that. It's like, okay, let me just end her life now, which apparently people actually talked about him behind his back, saying that he was so cruel and how could he do that and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, what else was he supposed to do? Be like, yeah, let all of us surrender in this battle so I can get my wife back, maybe. Or was he supposed to let her potentially be defiled? He made the right decision. Let me see your comment. You always confuse and conflate. There's the Arrow General, then Jigong's bro. I think Jigong's bro was General's protege, and then teacher to Aya. So it's to my understanding. It's to my understanding that Zuo Qiantu is both the arrow guy and Xiao Chuye's teacher. You think he feared that she would die a horrible death? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think she would have been humiliated, and he was like, absolutely not. Let's just let's get this over with. Wife would die anyway. Absolutely. Because there's no way if y'all surrendered that they'd be like, okay, here's your wife. No, absolutely not. So, but yeah, Zuo Tianqiu, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Jigong said, did he say at some point that he may have changed his name? But yeah, he's the arrow shooting guy and the Shifu. So, oh yes, we're still in this memory where Xiao Chuya is asking his Shifu, like, how did you end up shooting your wife? And so he's like, do you really want to be a general? And Xiao Chuya is like, heck yeah, I want to be. Heck yeah. And so, yes, might have ended up like Ji Gong's wife. Yeah. And so he's like, if you want to be a general, then don't start a family. Because as soon as you start a family, you're going to become vulnerable. You're going to become concerned about them and their safety and all of this stuff. Like, it's just not a good idea. You just want to be family free. Okay, buddy? Yeah. And so, he was like, there are some burdens that you're going to have to carry that are just going to be different from everything else. Okay. As a commander, at least. So he was like, I hope you don't find yourself in the situation that I was in. But then we have him telling him that, he died in that battle. Because he's like, well, after what you did, why didn't you get a title? And he was like, I died. What else was I to do? Like, I had to kill my own spouse. I had to kill the love of my life. Yeah. That's it. And it wasn't until he got a little bit older where he was able to understand Zuo Tianqiu's words, of course. And then he was just like thinking about it, hoping that he wouldn't be in that kind of circumstance, but he feared that he would be in that kind of circumstance. Xiao Chuya, that is, he really deeply feared that he would get caught up in the same thing, which is why he never was honest for real about the things he liked, even down to the food that he liked to eat. No one really knows what Xiao Chuye likes or what he truly, truly likes. They may know, like, oh, yeah, he likes to eat that, this, but we don't know his favorite food. We don't know his preferences. We don't know the wine that he loves, the clothes that he likes to wear. And he wants to keep up this sense of falsehood, keep up this, wall, because he doesn't ever want to be in a position where anything that he loves or likes becomes a vulnerability, just like Li Bei. Everyone knows how much he loves Li Bei, his home, his hometown, his people, the army, his parents, his dad, his brother, all of that. Yet that is a vulnerability. And where is he? Stuck in Chudu, away from them. And so he looked at Xiao Chuye, and I can't remember what Danmei I read, that another character had a moment like this where they were like, I could just kill you and I wouldn't have this problem anymore. Was it Thousand Autumns? It's like, these feelings I'm having, if I just kill you, then I wouldn't have to worry about this vulnerability. That's the moment he has. But he looks at Shunzatren and notices what? Baby boy is having a nightmare. So then you said Yen Wuxia sounds like I'm just like, dang, I'm really trying to remember. I think it was in Thousand Autumns where Yen Wuxia was like, let me just get rid of him and then I won't have these issues anymore. So that's the moment that Xiao Chuye has. Anyway, he sees, oh, it was Peerless. It was it was Feng Xiao, which is another Yan Wuxia, if you will. Thank you, Harley. Yes, it was in this. In case anyone hasn't read it, then I won't spoil it. But it was in volume 4. Yes. So anyway, we have chat. I think we have a type. Feng Xiao is Yan Wuxia 2.0. Right? Love Yan Wuxia. Love Feng Xiao. Love Xiao Chuye. Okay. So we have Shunzatren. Little Lanzhou is having a nightmare. He's even murmuring things in his sleep. And clearly the dream is involving Jimu, his adoptive brother, Jigong's son, right? And we get a little bit of this dream that's going back to the past, to everything that happened in the Chansha sinkhole. Not a very fun dream at all. And Xiao Chuye, realizes that Shunzatren is not invincible. Like, he's seen as this character that he can't read. He's always trying to get a handle on him, but Shunzatren's always like sneaking off, and he seems very cunning and smart. But he's like, oh, he has his own problems, his own vulnerabilities, and besides these like challenges that we're having, the little bit of unease that we feel toward each other, we actually share something: the empathy of fellow sufferers. We've both been through this kind of pain and suffering where we hurt for others who have been hurt, that are closely connected to us. And so we have him going through this dream. Eventually, he wakes up, hand pressed against Xiao Chuye's chest, because that is where comfort lies. And eventually, he's like, seeing Xiao Chuye is awake, and he's like, you can't sleep. And Xiao Chuye's like, I ate too much. Probably ate all that meat. But anyway, then of course Shunzatren is like, if I were anyone else, me waking up and seeing your face right here basically would scare me to death. And so Xiao Chuye lies, and he was like, I heard you call my name, so I got up close and personal, had to make sure you weren't cursing me. And Shunzatren was basically like, if I wanted to curse you, I could do that with my eyes open, sweetie. I don't need to be asleep to curse you. I can do that right here, right there. So then Xiao Chuye is like, well, are you cold? And he's like, yes, I'm freezing, baby. And so it said he reverted back to that alluring Shun Lanzhou. And so then we have Xiao Chuye decides to grip Shunzatren's hands and pin them above his head. And he was like, bruh, you sleeping in my bed? You know exactly what I've been thinking about every night. You call me impressive, but the one who's impressive is you. And so then Shun, it's just sort of flirtatious nature. Shunzatren is just like, oh no, what's to be done? I haven't done anything. And then Xiao Chuye is like, yeah, but I want to. I want to sleep with you. Please. Like now. Pretty please. He said they are both being kept captive in a place they don't want to be. Yes. Xiao Chuye, that already counts as habit. The wrist thing. Eyes fights. Eyes creak. So then he's like, yeah, I want to have sex with you. I want to do it. And Shenzi is like, I might die. That seems like an embarrassing way to go. Let's choose something else. He said, at least he asked for permission first. Yes. So this is what I love because, in the carriage, remember Shenzi was like, oh, it's a pity. You haven't screwed me. And it's like, that was all that Xiao Chuye needed. He just needed to know that Shenzi wanted it. So maybe this entire time he just wasn't sure, because it's been mentioned that he couldn't get a read on Shenzi. But as soon as he said that, he was like, oh, well, if you want to play with the sword, then I'll go in and whip it out. So it's getting whipped out. And Shenzi is like, please choose another death for me because I don't want to die in bed. That's very embarrassing. And then Xiao Chuye says, I changed my mind. I don't want you to die. Yeah. He doesn't want him to die. And then Shenzi is like, okay, just don't bite my neck. I was like, you acquiesced to that real easily. Didn't you just say you didn't want to die by pillar? And then all because he said, I don't want you to die. Then you're like, oh, okay, just don't bite my neck then. Even though he's obsessed with your neck. Okay. Who would fight swords with him if he died? And so then after that, Xiao Chuye is like, okay, Lanzhou, so you telling me I can't bite your neck. So does that mean everything else is fair game? Like I can do everything else though? I love how he's asking. He's like, okay, no neck. What about everything else? Am I getting permission for this? I love that he's asking permission. And so Shenzi doesn't even answer. And he was like, do you have fun teasing me? And Shenzi like, yep. Yep, because you're just like a lost little pup, a lost little wolf, and I love it. And so then Xiao Chuye is like, okay, we're going to have more fun. And then I love here, he was like, the Empress Dowager, she's doing whatever she's doing, biding her time, not making a move. What does she promise you? Whatever she promised you, throw it away. I'll give you that and much more. So he's like, just be with me, baby. You said gonna find it and put it on Discord. You have the sound bite from 99 now. Okay, yes, put it in Discord. And so, where are we? But yeah, he's like, whatever the Empress Dowager is promising you, throw it away. I'll give you that and more. Okay. And Shenzi is like, okay, whatever you say. And he's like, I'm guessing it's not freedom though, right? Because I'm looking in your eyes and you want to chain me up. And Xiao Chuye is like, yes, I do want to forge a chain and put it around your bare neck. It's a little too bare for me. And Shenzi is like, you do know that chains were originally for wolves, and I see you as a wolf. So I want to chain you up too. And Xiao Chuye is like, no, let's not do that. So anyway, he goes on to start saying something else because he's like, you can't even afford it. But then he's going to say something else, and Shenzi shuts him up. How does he shut him up? By kissing him. I think if NFS is this you. Yes, it is you. Okay, I'm gonna leave that so that I can pull it up. But he kisses him, and honestly, I was not anticipating that Shenzi would be the one to make the move to kiss. I was like, oh, you literally just put that. Yes, I thought it was gonna be Xiao Chuye, but yeah, he literally lost patience. Yeah, he was like, okay. Do me, man, do me. He's like, I'm tired of you talking. I'm tired of you teasing and playing around. Just come on. I said I wasn't into men, but that was a lie. Let's stop playing around. And so right after that, he's like, I have to provoke this man clearly because he is showing a lot of restraint, which is admirable, but not in this moment because Shenzi wants to be devoured, clearly. And so he's like, want to go wild with abandon? And he looks, it said there's a madness in his eyes. Like he is just like, please screw me. And he was like, do you dare? That's all you have to do is dare him. All you have to do is dare him. And then he was like, try tearing me apart, Xiao'er. See if I care. So Whew, that it said the tightly wound string from Xiao Trie's control finally snapped, which thank the heavens, because y'all just been playing around this whole time and y'all been needing to oh yeah, 1 second, y'all. Yeah, sorry I'm so late responding, comma, doing a live session and didn't see. My husband has to get me plain soap that I have to use when I clean myself before using some like weird solution pre-surgery to like lessen the risk of infections and blah blah blah. So he's like, "Is this the soap I should get?" Yes, an hour ago. So hopefully he just got the soap without, even though I didn't answer, because yeah, that's it. Give me that soap, babe, so I could be ready for surgery. That's tomorrow. I don't think I've processed the fact that I'm having surgery just yet. Maybe I won't process it until like later tonight. And look, poor hubby been sitting in the aisle for an hour just waiting for me to text him. He's probably still standing there with the soap, like, is this it? That would be so crazy. Not gonna lie, I would be so concerned if he was. Like, really? Okay. So back to the delicious chapters we have. So then we have it where after, actually it says, in response to this mockery and provocation, like I said, Shunsatran was like, I gotta provoke this man. It says he ruthlessly pinned Shunsatran down and ravaged him with kisses as sharp as bites. I'm glad we can serve as distraction for you. Yeah, I guess so. Because it's like I think about it, but it just hasn't registered. So, man, I just have to read it as it is. Lust entangled with murderous intent, hatred entangled with pity. Which of them was more contemptible? Which more pathetic? Their mouths open to each other, wet and hot. Where Xiaotria kissed Shanzitren, Shanzitren gave his all in response. I love this. It's like, yeah, even though Xiao Chuya acknowledges, that he hates Shun Wei, he hates the Biansha horsemen, even though they are on way better terms now, they've been through some things together now, it's still the acknowledgement that there are still some reservations that they have with each other. But lust. But attraction. And so it's just like, hey, but then also it mentioned pity, them understanding each other. So it's just a mix of things that have kicked them over the edge in this moment. They finally give in and they're like, let's hate each other. They don't hate each other, but let's hate each other and let's stain the other. Going back to Meat Buns, we got the stains, okay? And so then I have a note here. 1 second. Oh, this was because I ran out of room, but I said that. So yeah, that's that chapter. Then we get to chapter 41, which is literally 2 pages in the picture, which I will show you. LOL, not the stains. Like that was the first chapter name in Yuwu, volume 1, Stain. And then it was revealed that no, not Stain. But then it was revealed for another character that Stain. So anyway, chapter 41, Lanzhou. We know that Xiao Chuya is the one that gave the title for this chapter, right? Part 1, which means there's a... Does the sex continue? Wait, hold on. Okay. Anyway, I'm so sorry. So anyway, chapter 41, Lanzhou part 1. We have Shanzitran's clothes taken off. And yeah, he's just getting touched all over the place. It's not soft It's not gentle. It's not caressing. It's not sweet and lovey dovey. No, this is desperate. This is ravenous. This is, I've been holding back for quite a long time. But now that I know that you want this, that you want me, baby, oh yeah, let's go. That's what this is. So, yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There is really nothing that I can say about this 2-page chapter, except what I will say, yes, is on page 417. It said that I think I took that out of YouTube. Xiao Chuye's movements were urgent, yes, and he gradually grasped at joy. So for those of you who heard the Patreon version or listened to it on, Spotify or whatever, you know the exact words. I think this may have been edited out of YouTube, but yeah, it was very little that was edited out for YouTube. But yeah, it said that he gradually grasped at joy. And I'm not trying to be funny, but things that bring you joy to me are different from things that may bring happiness. They're synonyms, but not the exact same. And so knowing that being with Shanzi Chen was bringing him, like he was understanding joy a little bit, I was like, okay. So anyway, we go to the next page. And wait, hold on. Let me see what y'all saying really quickly. The whole back and forth between the years between them, longest foreplay ever. Right, like I'm done with the foreplay. Shanzi Chen said, like, let's just have sex. Also, let's appreciate that we don't have pale mounds or buns. We have cloud banks. Yes, I do appreciate, like I said, the poetic aspect of this. Let's see. He dragged Shantatran down from high in the clouds and bound him in the crook of his arm, blah, blah, blah. I love the poetic way that this sex scene was described, but also taking moments to let us know in plain terms that yes, they're having sex. And we have Xiao Chuye who's just kissing him all over the place. And, he's not pretending anymore that, okay, I'm immune to this. He's like, no, I need this. I thirst for this. This is my aphrodisiac. His neck is my aphrodisiac and his scent. And he's like going so hard at it. He doesn't want this man to think about anything, to remember anything except this moment. He's like, I'm going to give it to Shuntitren. I'm going to give it to Lanzhou so good that he forgets about the Chasha sinkhole. Like, what? How you gonna forget about something like that? We're getting to the art, which I know y'all can kind of see. So then we have Shenzi Tran who's trying to reach for the headboard, and Xiao Chuya is like, skirt, no. I want to know how crazy you can go too, sir. So he's like, you not already provoked me. So now I need you to let loose as well. So yeah, that was pretty much, whew, I'm sorry, I'm just like reading it again. Apparently his look was so amazing that Xiao Chuya is like, how did he blossom into such a tender sight? And I'm sure he was probably like, Lanzhou was probably so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like, if I could just imagining this play in my head, I'm just like, Lanzhou was I get it. I get it, Xiao Chuya, why you are in love already with this man. And so by the end, where we have Shun Zhichuan, who had his climax and everything, he's overwhelmed, but Xiao Chuya is still going, because that's how it goes. It says the last 2 lines after Xiao Chuya kisses him again and again and again and again, it says he didn't want to surrender, but he had already lost. Baby. He had already lost to this one because he's just so cute. Look at them. They even see the saliva. Oh my gosh. So good. And then his hair, I'm sorry. Look at Shunzatuan's hair. It's just pulling all over the bed. Like, how long is your hair, my guy? How long is it? And you even see Shunzatuan's hand in Xiao Chirye's hair, playing around with it. Y'all. This is really good. Oh my gosh. Let me look at these comments. More or less the whole scene that left me completely speechless. The art is fan's self. Like now I'm like, dang, I don't feel like getting up to get my fan. So fan's self. To be fair, he has a perfect cure for chronic detachment. You said, hell yeah. That pick. Fire. Yeah. So that was volume 1. For anyone of you guys who follows me on TikTok, because I know that a couple of you do, I did a review on book 1. I think I sped it up so that it was only hold on. So that it was only 5 minutes and 14 seconds, but it was definitely like a 6-minute review. But I just had to rave about it because I'm just like, what? It's I gotta finish the series, or I at least need to get through like book 3, all the way through book 3 before I can say where I feel like I'm gonna place this series in my top 5. Because let me pull up my top 5. Let me show y'all real quick, or tell y'all, I'm not sure. Actually, no, I think it might be on the documents here. My top 5. Where do I find them? Oh my. Wow. Not there. I already know what my top 5 are, but the order is where I'm lost. So I'm trying to find it. Where is you? Oh, it should be here. Okay. No, it's not there. Apparently, oh, I found it. You said you were kind of shook how explicit pics are in QJJ comparatively speaking to other Danmei. Well, I guess they said if you are going to have if you're gonna have ST do the art, then you gotta let them reign free. Because didn't ST also do Yuwu and Arha? Gotta let ST reign free. You know, you said I just followed you recently there. Yeah, because aren't you called Cookie there? I think I've seen you. Oh, didn't know that I was on TikTok. Yep, I'm on TikTok. I can bet you're gonna up it up there after book 2. You are certain. NFS. Okay. So here is the order of my top 5 favorites, you guys. You send your cookie everywhere. That's good. I mean, makes life easy for me. So we got Thousand Autumns at number 1, Yuwu at number 2, Peerless at number 3, SVSSS at number 4, Devil Venerable Also Wants to Know at number 5. Definitely, it's Devil Venerable probably is going to get knocked off the list. Man, I think I might switch SVSSS and Peerless around, actually, now that I'm sitting here talking about it. One second. Oopsie. Copy SBSSS by MXTX. Okay, I just made that third place. Imperialist fourth place. Not confident in that decision, but oof. Yen Wushur, you gotta, I don't know. So here's the next book. Shanzi Tren, I'm assuming. Xiao Chuya with Meng. We got the Republicans and the Democrats. Just kidding. You said this is your favorite cover of all time. Love this cover. Yes, I think the cover is very nice. I thought the first cover was nice. But now I'm like, I really like this cover. So if I have to choose between. Actually, it's really weird for me. Like, if I had to choose between cover one and cover two, I think I would still pick cover one. But I really, really do like cover two. So we are about to read the summary. And I'm going to take off the back sticker. We're going to read the summary for volume two so we can get ready for it for when I am fully recovered from my surgery. Volume four is your favorite, though? I guess we'll get there when we get there, even though I already have volume four. I think I have. Yes, I have all the volumes this far. Yes. So, know thine enemy, know thyself. After a passionate night together, Shantatren and Xiao Chuye part the next morning as enemies. What happened? Or did they just pretending? Yes. A new emperor has ascended the throne, and the court is in a flux. Power and position are in reach for anyone who dares to grasp them, and Shantatren will stop at nothing to pursue his ambitions. But while Shantatren and Xiao Chuye counter each other's moves on the board, grander schemes are afoot in the capital of Chudu. As court conspiracies swirl around them, Shantatren and Xiao Chuye find themselves unlikely allies against a mysterious adversary pulling the strings behind a series of calamities targeting the emperor. Yet, in order to work together, they must be trust. There must be trust. And with trust comes risk. In setting their masks aside, they may inadvertently find their whole selves laid bare. I don't know why in the world I did all of that stuff. You said afoot. Yes, afoot. That was so stupid. I don't know why I did that. So that is the summary. Did I say something aside from afoot? But yes, grander schemes are afoot in the capital of Chudu. So we've got a lot going on. Lots going on. You said, yeah, blurbs, so many innuendos. I'm gonna leave them alone right now. But yeah, they're gonna go ahead and lay bare, you guys. You can do that. So yes, if I believe I have the full cover, like not just the. One second. Desktop, Don May read along, Don May covers, QJJ. Oh, I accidentally marked this as 4, but it's 2. I'm about to show it to you guys so you can see the whole thing. Well, the whole thing minus my little square. Well, look at this solution I found. That's the whole thing. Yes. The hand. Yeah. That's why I wanted to pull it up, because I saw it on the back. So I was like, let me pull up the whole thing. Yes. He's shielding him from behind. So yes, this is lovely. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I need their robes. Can I have their clothes? I want them. Anybody else want their clothes? Okay, just me. All right. So we have a first white book, then the black book. The book after that is white, then black, then white, then black. They got the whole, chess, or is it checkers? I don't remember. I think it's chess uh going on. Checkerboard? Hold on. See, this is why I don't play games. These games. No, it's chess. Chessboard. Wait, I don't know. Chessboard. Okay. You said hair, amazing art. Yeah. Shunta Tran's hair is out of this world. And it's clear just from like, let me go. That his hair is way longer than Xiao Triez. Because Xiao Triez is like here, then we see it here. I mean, we know that he's wearing a ponytail, but even if he were to take and like it even laps over underneath, we can see. But like, even if he took it out of the ponytail, Shunta Tran's hair is like, hey, what it do? Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let me stop. You said Pseudo uses real historical references when drawing clothes. Oh, really? You said go. Oh, it's like go. Hold on. Well, yes, I guess it could be that as well. That would be more accurate since it's Chinese. But yes, the chessboard is black and white, like checker too. So it fits both. You said, as in tamed falcon, with his hair. Yeah, Zitran's hair is the black background. They're also called ST. Okay, I was like, who's Suto? I guess maybe that's their the short way. Actually, it takes the same amount of breath. Suto, ST, 2 syllables. Or hidden details and nods and cover is game of its own. Yeah, I'm trying to. I was trying to zoom in. I didn't mean to zoom in that much. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen anymore. Oops. Hold on. I thought I was still sharing my screen. Oh my gosh. But yeah, here we are. His hair. Just look at this with Mung. Just the way that Mung was drawn, I think is amazing. And even this picture of whatever one of those like Chinese banners that they're in front of. Is it a moon in the background? Like here? I don't know. I guess I'll figure out eventually. You said her there? You ones are even more amazing. I love you covers. Like so far, out of all covers that I have seen, not counting The Legend of Exorcism, which I don't know who did the art for those, you are some of my favorite covers. But let me see. Who did Legend of Exorcism? La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Art done by Ruthie. That is some of my favorite cover art I have ever seen. I'm ready for us to read LOE just so I can rave about the art. That's all I want to do. Like that's because these are some of the best Donmei covers I have ever seen. But after that, ST. You don't think you've seen it? They're amazing. They're so amazing. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing. So, just going through some things. Yes, again, like I said, tomorrow I have to be at the location at 5:30 a.m. for this freaking surgery. And then for sure, I'll be out for a week. Don't know if it'll be 2 weeks, but for sure a week. So, um, I had mentioned to, I think, Cookie, it was when we were chatting, that I'd probably replace Little Mushroom, or that I was considering, not probably, but I was considering replacing the slow read of Little Mushroom with the White Cat's Divine Scratching Post. But that's not something that's finalized. So I would love for you guys to, I don't know, tell me what you guys want to read. I'll look at the summaries of things, and they don't have to be officials either. These can be Don May that are not officially released, because I do want to show them some love too. I realize that other than Devil Venerable, which now is official, right? That everything has been official, but there's so much more Don May out there. So you guys are more than welcome to every now and then just send a message in Discord, put it in, I think, the general Don May chat, or send me a message personally there, comment in videos like, hey, could you read such and such? Just so I can figure out what it is that I want to be a side read, because I'm just not, I'm not sure yet. Like, I've been thinking, and the thinking just ain't thunk all the way. So and also, as a reminder, now I will be resting, but the final week of January, I will be sure to let you all know when we're starting Thrice Married to a Salted Fish. Not reading it on here, not me recording it on here, but like we did for The Wife Comes First, we are reading it offline in our own time. And I just rhymed. And then we will come live to discuss it. All of that starts Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, Volume 1, which I took a picture. I'm going to post it again. That is going to be from February the 2nd to the 23rd. So I will let you guys know a better schedule on that. I will actually try to figure that out today. Crap, is it too late for me to order Thrice Married to a Salted Fish and it arrive today? Maybe, maybe not. I have to see. But yeah, I'm going to order that because I don't have it yet. And then see how many pages I think I'll have read by the time we start this. But our first live session is going to be on the 2nd of February. My goal, this is the goal, okay, is for us to go live for all of the book club, offline book club stuff that we do, for us to go live on Mondays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that seems to have just been working. So I won't make a live event for it just yet, or maybe I should, I don't know. But yeah, that's what we're doing next. Aside from you all just listening to Copper Coins and enjoying that, we will be doing this next. Of course, when I come back, I also intend on recording Jiu Volume 2. Just don't know how quickly that'll happen with my recovery process. But I think that is all as far as any other announcements that I had. Let me look at you guys' comments. You said, good luck with your surgery. Thank you. Sending you lots of love. Strength and healing vibes. Best for all your surgery. Thank you. Good luck with your surgery. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I'm sure you said yes to the Divine Cat Scratching Post. You said the look in his eye. Man, yes. Yes. Are you making fun of me because I said thunk? My thinking hasn't fully thunk yet. But yes, if you guys don't already have Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, this is me just going ahead and saying, make sure you get it by I would say make sure you get it by like Thursday, January 29th, because I'm going to hopefully start reading the Friday, January 30th or 31st, so that we can discuss it that Monday. But yeah, I'll think about that, give you guys more details I should have been thinking about that. I really just need to order them now and see if I can get them delivered to me really quickly today. I think it's like $7 delivery fee. That's fine. That's whatever. Good luck tomorrow. At least try to enjoy the painkillers. Oh, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna tell them, give me all the narcotics you want to give me. I promise I won't overdose on them. I'm not gonna abuse them, but give them to me. Okay. I want to be in as little pain as possible, which apparently the first 3 days are supposed to be hell. So yeah, that's fun. But I'm hoping the pain meds will help me out, or at the very least, I'm hoping that I can sleep all the time and not feel the pain because I'm sleeping. Yeah, I'll try to find PDF somewhere. No way in hell for me to get it. Me. Thrice married to a salted fish. Um, Send me an email. I'm saying email, but yes, send me an email. NFS, I got you. Good luck tomorrow and a good and speedy recovery. Thank you. Yeah, it used to be on Chrysanthemum, but as things are getting licensed, they're getting, removed and everything. Okay, Cookie says she'll send it to you. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, once they get published, they're taking them down from other places so that people can actually go and buy them. I mean, they know that there are people like me and Kichter and Jeanette and Gay Watch and so many others. Like we're reading them here, but they, just removing them from the other platforms. So the wife comes first. And yeah, so the wife comes first is something that we are already reading offline together. So you don't have to worry about that. We actually already read the first volume together. If you weren't around for that, I have a playlist created for that. What was it called? The playlist is called the Wife Comes First Book Club Chat. So if you just look on YouTube, you'll see it there. And then once the second volume comes out March the 10th or the 17th. No, I think we started on the 17th, but it comes out on the 10th. Then we'll continue reading that on the side. So that is something that won't be slow read on my channel because we've already read volume 1 and I'm not going to just start recording volume 2. But also, I can't record volume 1 and then volume 2 because I just don't want to reread it at this current moment. But also, if I were to record volume 2, then we won't be doing it as the book club, which has been requiring me to take QJJ level notes. Like if you looked at my Wife Comes First book, it looks just like QJJ because there are thorough breakdowns of all the chapters, but I can't do that for QJJ and for The Wife Comes First and do a side read and do the other stuff too. So it's just like, yeah, so The Wife Comes First is not one that will be recorded because it's already in the Mari Chan book club. Now, that's not to say it's something that would never, ever be recorded. Maybe in the future, if I ever feel like rereading it, I would as a side read. But yeah, that's in the offline book club. So, well, offline, but online because we come live to talk about it. But just letting you know that. It's really good, though. I'm sad that we have to wait for the second volume. If you like it, you're going to buy it anyway, but it takes ages. Wah. You said, gosh, we'll be having withdrawal symptoms next week. Oh, man. That's why I said I felt bad for Tiglis for saying that you were binging everything. Because I'm like, oh, if you binge everything while I'm still gone, if you finish and I'm still gone, it's going to be like, now what? What do I do now? Maya Chen will be on enough meds for all of us. I will. Whatever meds you need, I got it. I'll take care of it. But yeah, you guys have any questions for me? I do also want to say, for anyone who may have missed it in a previous live, we are celebrating Chinese New Year together on February the 17th. That is a Tuesday, just so you guys know. So I've already gotten the majority of what we're going to be doing set up for then. Super excited about it. Yeah, I think that's my last update. So yeah, I can just sit around for a bit for any questions or comments y'all may want to. You said the rest of us will be shaking. If someone wants to read something similar, at least a little, to The Wife Comes First, I recommend The Submissive Emperor. Meow. It's on Chrysanthemum Garden. Yep. It's right here. Here you go. Oopsie. The Submissive Emperor, right there. TGCF or Peerless? Peerless. Peerless all day, every day. Peerless because every book got better and better to me until the fifth one, but it was still good. Very good. Peerless because the dynamic between the two characters, the two main characters, is just chef's kiss. Love it. Peerless, like I said, each book got better and better. There wasn't a single book that I felt like I had to take my time with because I was bored or I felt like, oh, do we really have to go through this stuff? Loved it. TGCF went back in time a little bit too long for me. You said you were serious though, Mari Chan. Give yourself Lanjo too. Oh, I'm probably gonna take a look at it because I was like, wait, what do you mean they woke up enemies? No, they didn't. Nuh-uh. No, they didn't. Hold up. Look. How many pages is it? Okay. That's less than 10 pages. I'm reading it today. I'm gonna figure out. It's gonna make stopping worse. So after though, I don't care. Chapter 41, Lanjo Part 2. Xiao Chuya slept. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and look at the art that's inside this, by the way. My question was answered. So I was wondering what was behind them, what little design they were behind, and it's actually right here. Isn't that cool? Really love this abstract art here. So there was another picture though. We still have the map. Here we oh. Wow. Bow chicka wow wow chicka wow wow. Lovely. And yeah, that's some of the art for the beginning. So this is going to be, how many pages is this one? I wonder if it's longer or shorter. It's actually just a little bit shorter. Okay, really random thing. I don't know if anyone else does this. And I don't know when I started, but for every series that I read, for every novel, for every volume, I actually read like the last paragraph of the book and then go back to read. And if it's not a paragraph, but like lines, then I'll just read like what I feel like is a paragraph's worth of lines. So far, I have not been spoiled by doing that. I don't know if anyone else has any weird quirks or does any weird stuff like that, because yeah, that is what I do. So the last chapter in here is chapter 75 called Night Ride. Anybody else thinking that I'm thinking? Only because of how the previous volume ended. I'm like, Night Ride. Who's writing what? No, who's writing who? So So now I'm suspicious about the chapter. You said you're so sad and empty in advance. Oh no. Yes, the cover is pretty. SD is killing us with the art. You said, OMG, read the last pages since I started reading. Nanjo has quite the chest in that art. He sure does. Let me go back to it. Yep, it's just sticking out. And he's pulling them closer too. He's like, more. Oh my gosh. You don't like checking the interior illustrations because of spoilers? Normally, I don't check the interior illustrations. Now, the only time I will do that, but like inadvertently, is if I'm just going ahead and putting all of my sticky notes where all of the pictures are. But I try to just go to the page, put the sticky there, and then move forward. But no, I don't look at the pictures beforehand, but I really do want to look at the last paragraph before continuing to read. You said, books are well divided, is all I'm saying. NFS. Oh my gosh. Not my mind going in a weird way with that ride. I mean, me too. I'm like, night ride. Well, it's nighttime. We know what happens at night. I always look at every art. Oh God. And read one dialogue when I get the book. Me trying to keep silent. Keep silent. Mung riding this on Snowcrest. Please read the first read the first line. Okay. Ballad of Sword and Wine, Volume 2, also known as Qiang Jingjiu by Tang Jiu-Qiang. Starting with Chapter 41, Lanzhou Part 2. So this ended with Chapter 41. They said, we're not done with Chapter 41. Xiao Chiye slept. That's the first line. That's it. Like Jesus wept. that's the first line. No, you deleted the message. Vibrating on. Oh, you've got no idea. You don't know the meaning of Night Ride until you have read the chapter. Oh shoot. Oh God. Let me stop being silly. I'll read the opening paragraph. You said, well, it's a good and innocent start. It probably won't stay that way, though. Xiao Chiye slept. All his fury and ferocity had settled into his features, giving him an expression of determined frustration. He held tight to one of Shen Zitran's wrists, forcing the semblance of intimacy on this winter night long after they had transformed merciless kisses into scalding passion. Outside, all night, snow drifted like catskins, the air still and silent. Just before daybreak, Shen Zitran extracted his wrist from Xiao Chiye's grip. Xiao Chiye's fingers chased after his warmth, stirring beneath the covers. Chen Yang was waiting outside the door when Shen Zitran stepped out of the room. Jewel grounds, Shen Zitran said shortly. Chen Yang nodded. As he shifted aside, he caught a glimpse of the cut on Shen Zitran's lip and hesitated, as if to speak. Shen Zitran saw through him at a glance. The redeployment order for the embroidered uniform guard should be issued very soon. Thank you for your generous accommodation all this time. Chen Yang began. What happened a few days ago? What's done is done. There's no need to speak of it. Shen Zitran was frostier than usual today. Okay, that's the first page of that. That's it. Starts pretty innocent. I think that's pretty innocent, but it's called Lanzhou, so I know it doesn't stay innocent because it's an extension of the last chapter, the same chapter. So there you have it. I hope that the reading of the first word has ignited you guys' impatience. I hope it has ignited your prayers for you guys to pray for me to heal as quickly and smoothly as possible. Be like, please let Mari Chan heal. Please let Mari Chan heal. Fast, fast, fast. Smooth, smooth, smooth. You said, I can't believe that I have actually caught alive. Wishing you all the best for your surgery. Thank you, Sally Longhurst. Yes, you have caught us. We are leaving soon, but you have caught us. So welcome. We just read the first page of Ballad of Sword and Wine, Volume 2. I shouldn't have done that because now I want to keep reading. And technically, I need to go cook. I need to cook. I did cooking yesterday and I have to do cooking today. And I pulled out some stuff that I had cooked before that was frozen so that my husband can have plenty of food to eat while I just lay there in misery. So, the submissive emperor. Oh, oh, I didn't realize that the submissive emperor was also written by Liu Ye Tianhe. No wonder it's about the same vibes as The Wife Comes First. It's written by the same person. Very nice to know. Looking at this, it appears to be 103 chapters, with chapters 100 through 103 being extras, just so you all know. That's not a lot of chapters at all. That's like a 3-volume book for real. I'm gonna have to put a pin in this. The Submissive Emperor by Liu Ye Tian He. Done. Saved. But yes. Whoa. You said fun and all, but really good luck in your surgery and having nice and smooth recovery. Thank you. I think I will. It still hasn't really registered yet. So maybe that's why I'm not nervous, but it's bound to come, at some point. It's bound to come. So we'll see. Yes, I know. Because when you mentioned it to me, I looked it up and was like, oh. So I will say, if I am thoroughly satisfied by The Wife Comes First, that may just solidify Divine Cat Scratching Post or something by Liu Ye Tianhe. Because it's not that yes, I do want to make sure that I have diversity of authors on my channel, but at this time, if authors are doing something right, I also want to give those authors a little bit more shine, more than once. Like with Monk Shi, I read 2 things by that author. So yeah, I think so far, based on everything that I've read, technically, because things ended, I'm not counting Priest and I'm not counting Fei Tian Xiang, even though I did finish it, I just erased it. But Monk Shi is the only author who I've read like more than one of their works in totality. But yes, I've also read 2 of Fei Tian Xiang's works. But yes, if the authors are doing good, I don't mind reading more of their work. You said, did the author of QJJ write anything translated yet? That I don't know. Do any of you guys know? I say whenever I look up this person, the only thing that comes up is Ballad of Sword and Wine. It's the only one that's published. So do they have like any other works at all, even if not published? Okay, I thought Nanchan was one, but I'm not familiar, so I was like, I hope I'm not saying the wrong person. Okay. And I hear people really love Nanchan as well, so I don't know what it's about, but yeah, that one's published. And then we have yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for joining me today. This is our last live session for like the next 2 weeks or so. And then we'll be back in the game again. You've got lots to binge or re-binge for now. Oh gosh. If y'all have anything y'all want to say to me before I'm just like AWOL, you can find me on Discord. But after tomorrow, just know I may be gone for a little bit, at least for the first 3 days. After that, I think I'll just be resting, but like I'm sure I can still be on my phone. It's just like mentally, my doctor was like, many women who get this for the first 3 days, it's pretty hellish. After that, they're okay, like physically. It's just that going back to work may not be the best idea, given what kind of work they may have to do. If it's physical labor, absolutely not. And if it's mental labor, then also probably not. And my job requires a lot of mental labor. So I was like, probably not a good idea. But that is a Discord link that I just put here. If you want to join us over on Discord, it's always just invite only. Sometimes I just pop it into the chat, but for those who are a part of the Discord, you can always pop it into a live session if you want to as well, if someone asks about it and I miss it or something like that. So you said, don't be nervous about tomorrow. Good luck and relax and get better. You're gonna be bumped out. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to give myself a playlist of things that I want to listen to since I'll be stuck in bed, but I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if there's anything necessarily that I want to reread on my channel. So I don't know. I got to figure out what it is that I'm going to deal with. Listen to. Always remember, if jitters kick in, you can disassociate into Don May daydreams. Guardian. No. No, not Guardian. Why are you trying to make me suffer worse? I thought we were cool, NFS. Come on. Anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day and or night. We have You Even Dare. Come back, NFS, so you can then beat you up for recommending something like that to me. So, yes, I am not going to say my outro a third time. I'll see you all as late as February the 2nd. You said the Tyrant's Pet Fish. I could do that. It would be my third listen. I'll think about that. I also thought about Devil Venerable Also Wants to Know, but I also re-listened to that, so I'm not sure. Oh, I could re-listen to The Imperial Uncle. That's one I haven't re-listened to, because I'm like, I've pretty much re-listened to everything on here, minus Guardian, not gonna do that, minus Astrolabe, not gonna do that, and minus River Bay Road, not gonna do that. And I'm not gonna re-listen to Copper Coins, because I have almost all of that up now. So yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I might do Disabled Tyrants, blah, blah, blah. Deuces, you guys. I will see you all next time. And I will be in the Discord today, probably just shooting the shit with you guys. Don't shoot me. Bye.